On.
Hello and welcome to Star Wars News and Weekly Comic Recap presented by Tales from the Darkside. This week we're covering two new Star Wars comic releases. We've got Dr. Aphra 13 and Darth Vader 15. Two comics, both contributing to the War of the Bounty Hunters, neither by retelling us what we already know. Take notes on that, Star Wars 2020.
Yeah, right.
We're supposed to be a simple ranking of Star Wars video games, but nothing could be less simple for these Darkside gamers. Hopefully they're still friends after this. We're still discussing the making of the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. Trust nothing, now or in the future. And never trust me to produce a segment that won't go off the rails. This one will, pretty sure. And we'll look at Out of the Shadows by Justina Ireland. Spoilers ahead as we get to know the novel's characters and how they might impact the High Republic story going forward. Let's get it going, fellas. That's on me, fellas.
You're muted, Mark.
Oh, I'm muted. So that's a good way to start it. Look at already started off great with the mute.
Hey, you can tell I've been gone a while.
Just testing you.
Yeah, must have been up late last night. Oh, good stuff. Hey, Jedi, how about you go around the horn, tell everybody who's here and what they're doing.
All right. Hey, as hosts go, he's in a grade all his own. What it is, we don't know. The grading notes only say that his corners are scuffed.
Do not know, absolutely not.
Sounds painful, but he's toughing it out tonight. It's Macho Man Marco. After previous discussions on cloning, he began to write fan fiction about the Empire capturing and cloning Ewoks. I hear it's a very short story, and parts of it are so hairy that it's hard to endure. It's the mighty Solo Wookiee.
Come on, that's why dad jokes aren't allowed.
That's awesome.
No.
I'm glad to see that he made it back from his vacation last week. I hope he had a great time because I got worried when he told us about some awesome discount he got on a full family vacation package to beautiful Camino. It's Pete Renovision. He possesses one of the biggest Star Wars minds in the galaxy, but he's also a bit of a prankster. He once drew a smiley face on the back of Lord Vader's helmet. Vader choked out 37 people that day. It's the guy behind the curtain, J.J. Maxwell. And he fell asleep right through the end of a blue box, large font Yoda Funko auction that sold for way less than he would have bid. That is all. I'm Jedi Johnson 22, and that's not the first time that's ever happened. Hopefully one of our viewers got it.
Great stuff, Jedi. Hey, thanks for coming back. We appreciate having you. You know, it's always good to at least have somebody do decent intros. We've been trying. We haven't been half as good as you, so we appreciate it.
In the ballpark.
Hey, let's say what's up to everybody that's in there. We got Ruben, of course, was in early, so we got to give Ruben the first shout out of all of them. He was in there super early. Chad, what's going on? Astro, good to see you. Finally, a weekend off. I'm glad you got one off. You should get more off. Tell him I said so. Darth Lopez, always good. Ed, I got my pencil. All right, there you go, Ed. Ed's got his pencil. Give him something to write on. Stick Boy, I hear he had a Star Wars auction. Is that coming up or did that go already? Let us know in the notes. We'll let everybody know about Stick Boy. Good to see you. And Dwayne Scott's here. Yeah, the Scuff. We need Scuff merch, huh? Shannon, how you doing? For those people that don't know, we decided to test out a certain company. And apparently the guy who yells at everybody about how they slam their books, how they treat their books, was told that I shouldn't take my thumb and go to every corner of my book and do this. I didn't know I did that, but apparently I according to them, I do.
Especially on the ones from 1944.
Yeah. Take all the gloss off the 44.
You know we're missing the Star Wars reference, the obvious one.
What's that?
Scuffy Nerf Herder.
Yeah, you guys had that dad joke. You should have had it, but you guys didn't do it. Jamie, what's going on? I'm glad you're getting paid to watch live feed. Everybody should do that at work. So we have an interesting week. We're going to start off with comic reviews. They actually did give us only 2 comic books, but they were different, like Jedi said, which is nice. We're going to cover the novel Out of the Whatever Darkness, the Justine one.
Shadows.
So hopefully, Shadows. So hopefully you guys read it. If not, and you don't want it spoiled, we have to do it because they're coming out with a new audiobook tomorrow or whatever. So, and then we're going to go over some deep fake Mando / Skywalker stuff, right? We're going over that. That's Jedi segment. Cool. All right. Let's start. Oh, pickups. Sure. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm obviously suspended for doing pickups on the channel for a couple weeks after last night, but you guys go ahead and do them.
I got a couple of good ones.
All right. Oh, hey, one more thing. Thank you for everybody over at Renovision for subbing. We got up to 1K. We really do appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you for checking out all the content over there too. We love you guys. Oh, Obi, how you doing, Obi the Gray?
I was having trouble finding a book, and good guy hit me up, and I checked a couple of the stores around here. I don't think they ordered it. So
Nice.
You guys, if you're not subscribed, go check out this feller. He's really nice.
You got that already?
Rena Visions, I think it is. Really, really
Is
good
that
guy.
corner scuffing I see?
Yeah, there's a little bit of spine stress and corner scuffing, but it's still, I mean, it's still a 9.6, 9.8 in my
Yes,
book.
I thumb fornicated it.
But big shout out to Pete, man. That hooked me up. That was awesome because I was having trouble finding it here. It's got me wondering how many of these got ordered. How many are out there?
Like some shops got stacks and some shops sold out fast.
Yeah.
And I think some shops just didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know. I got some questions. I did score on a Whatnot. And
Who's the what's?
I was watching a Whatnot
yeah.
with Skeff. Skeff's Comics. Great podcaster, great bookseller. He's always got good stuff. This is the 1 in 100.
Yeah.
Double side. So you got the bad guys on the back, good guys on the front. Yeah, Star Wars Adventures, Clone Wars Battle Tales #1, 1 in 100. Dope book, hard to find. I watched him open it and unbox it, and so when he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it on Whatnot,"
That was a 1 in 100.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something like that.
When he was like, "I'm gonna sell that on Whatnot," I stocked that Whatnot until it came up, and I told him, I was like, "I'm buying that book, dude. I don't care what it takes." So
As long as you don't fall asleep like Jedi.
Yeah, it worked out good. I got a pretty good deal on it too, so
Happens all
it
the
was
time.
good. It was worthy. Great book. Super happy.
Cool.
Thanks, Scuff.
So Stick Boy already had his sale. Stick Boy, tell us how it went. We appreciate it. Anybody else have anything you want to show off? Sorry, I didn't tell everybody to do pickups before.
I got 2 things. Nothing
yeah,
exciting.
let's go.
So sometimes when I'm watching something on eBay, like I'll just do a search to see what's coming up at the end of its.
I love your
auction life.
stories of what's going to happen and go wrong. What happened?
No,
What went wrong?
sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, dude, that's awful low, man. Let me see if I can sneak in here and get it. And so I got this. It's a reprint.
Okay.
That's number 2.
That's not bad. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Well,
that
no, it should be
the
called a
newsstand?
second print now, not a reprint. There's no such thing as
Yeah.
reprints anymore.
Wait,
It's
is that
second print.
is that the reprint newsstand?
Yes.
Yes.
It sure look like it. Yeah, those are.
Because in that year, almost
Is
every
it
book
worth
was a
$1 million?
newsstand.
No.
No, they're going up. They're
And then the Walmart #1 variant. I
Oh,
got this on short box. So I guess I've never sold anything on short box, but I am registered as a seller. Every time I go to list something, they reject it for some reason. But anyway, they sent out like a thank you to all the sellers for like $20 off or whatever. And this wasn't, they weren't asking much for this anyway. So I think I only ended up paying what it would cost to get it graded. So
nice.
Nice.
I have a feeling those are tough to get in a 9.8 because in the back of that
Yeah.
all black on the back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they sandwich those Walmart things together. They probably rub.
Yeah, they definitely rub.
A bunch of those.
to my understanding, those reprint newsstands were a lot less printed. It was a lot less print run.
Yeah.
Book reprint, so that's why they're a little.
You talk about because of the Whitmans had the
Yeah.
reprint already going off.
The blank barcode Whitman.
Yeah, the brink.
I was gonna say, yeah, the Whitmans would be the blank one. Well, then would those be the second prints?
It would be-
those be the third?
They-
prints?
Fucking A. We're not going down that rabbit hole. I'm still dealing with how you get
What about-
spine stress.
What
on
about the
a
rare
bag
fifth
book.
print, Pete?
No, Jesus.
Well, that would be the the comic pack version then. If we're gonna get to that.
No, that would be the Toys
that's
R Us. No.
third
It'd be the
print.
Kids R. It'd be the what was it? What's the one? KB Toy Store. It'd be the KB Toy Store 3-pack. Would be the 5th print of that book. Just in case you're keeping track. Which if you are, you're a loser. Okay,
The guy who doesn't want to
yeah.
get into it gets into it.
FAO Schwartz. 'Cause that's who owned KB was FAO Schwartz.
That's true.
Okay. Either way, good
I got
pickup, guys.
ones real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick. I'll go.
Let's see. Let's let JJ make everybody jealous. What did you pick up?
I bought a lot of children's stuff.
No,
this was in there.
Lego
A
stuff.
couple of those. They're fun.
Little Rebels. I don't even know what the name of this thing is. I think it was just an insert, a Lego insert. Was it a Comic Con thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then
not a Comic Con, but it was a Lego comic that they have a run of those.
Can
And
you
then,
see?
picked up a GameStop variant. A little Great Horn propaganda for Star Wars 4.
Yeah.
I love those covers.
Got his Luke as a partner.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
I like the
nice.
Luke.
I don't think
I
they
got
connect.
Morgan
I think
Bales.
they're just the same.
They're posters. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
There's
They
a
don't
Vader one
connect.
too. That's even better in my opinion.
But yeah.
GameStop actually had really underrated covers.
Yeah, I got the other ones behind me, which are nice.
I agree.
Those are Greg Horn, right? I believe.
Yep,
Oh,
Great Horn on both. Yep.
Yeah, those are the connecting ones you got behind you, right?
Yep.
Feel
These
free to
do
show them. Now that we're all talking about, stop pointing to them and
might
just
as
pull
well.
them up.
Yeah.
We'll connect them
Empire
so you can see
version,
them. Yeah, and then
which is exceedingly rare. And then
Yeah,
Yeah.
backwards.
I don't know. I think I got them backwards.
Yeah, that's not how they
There you
connect.
go.
Sorry about that. Trying to avoid the light. It's like
All right, there we go. So we got that all taken care of.
I wanted to see you do the Wakanda Forever with the books.
Yeah, right.
okay.
All right, let's hop into some comic book reviews, and then we can get into some reviews of some other reviews. And I actually want to go. I actually like the Jedi section where we talk about the deep fake because it wasn't a deep fake, right? Everybody's calling that a deep fake with Skywalker, and it wasn't.
Yeah. Actually,
It wasn't a deep
ironically,
fake at all.
the guy that made an actual deep fake version of Luke got hired by Lucasfilm because his fake version was better than the one they used in the show. Like, for real.
Oh, that's
Real
awesome. All right. Comic review it is. Let's see what we got this week. All right, we got one of our favorites, our new favorites, because Aphra was bad for so long, but she seems to be. Well, she was turning the corner till this book. Here we go. We get the flashback of why she's scared of Vader, because if you were reading the Vader stories before, she ditched Vader and left her to die. She fell here and Sansa's saving her. They do go back like, hey, what are we doing? Let's go steal that lady's jewelry. They go in there, they knock her out, and then they notice that she's got... I thought this is kind of cool, because they knocked her out, and then all of a sudden, they didn't say anything. And she's got the little tattoo on the side. Turns out it's the Red Dawn tattoo. So it turns out that the cartels
Crimson
are
Dawn?
Crimson.
Dawn?
Yeah, the Crimson Dawn. Sorry, what did I
Not
say?
the Patrick Swayze movie.
Dead
Oh,
Red
no.
Dawn. Wolverine.
Wolverines. But it turned out that they're showing that a lot of the RA, the syndicates are already working for the Crimson Dawn. So, there you go. Black Sun's working for the Crimson Dawn because she got the tattoo. They start doing the little figure out, steal all the information, but Aphra can't leave that much alone. So she's like, I'm going to steal everything, even though it's the Crimson Dawn. And then these robot character head things come in, pretty much knock them out, and then throw them into a prison, which is interesting. I kind of like this. I hope we get we don't always get to see a lot of prison. This is going to sound weird. We don't get to see a lot of prisons all the time in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But what?
When we do Aphra's in them, remember Rebel Jail?
Yeah, true.
She's like Matt Murdock. She's always ended up in jail all the time.
Right, I know, but she gets to explore them because a lot of these jails and prisons we've read about or seen in video games, and then now we actually get to see them in print, which is kind of cool, man.
Is this the Crimson Dawn prison? Is that what I was?
I assume it is.
Okay.
It's on the ship, right?
Yeah,
because she was going up to the upper
brig.
levels on the
They
ship.
got her in the brig.
Yeah, the brig.
They got her
Yes,
brig. Yeah.
the Crimson Dawn brig.
Bread and water.
It looks like a menagerie.
It kind of reminded me of the way they had the robots and everything, the Age of Ultron. When they back in the Avengers when they made them to patrol and what the heck was that prison called? I can't remember. They've invented Ultron to patrol and keep all the bad guys in that prison.
What, the raft?
Raft.
Yep.
Yes,
Well, we're gonna get into video games later. That's what it reminded me of. Like
Yeah,
when you
that's
run
what it
into that
reminded
one
me of
video
too.
game boss, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like all of a sudden, it's like they're on different levels, and you're like, you got to sneak out, then you got to go. Yeah, it reminds me exactly of a video game. So we'll see her playing a video game. Hopefully, they do the whole thing in 8-bit. That would be really cool. But I doubt they will. The other half of Aphra, because there's always two halves, start to finally make sense. They go back to training with their master trainer, who looks like an ape person. And then here comes our friend.
It's Lucky and Ariel. Is it
Yeah.
Ariel?
Lucky and Ariel. Lucky is the brother of Sansa, isn't he? How are they related again? Somebody's a brother to somebody.
Not Sansa.
Not Sansa.
Oh,
It's Santa, right?
Sana or whatever.
Sana.
Sana, the brother of
Is it
Sana.
Ariel or Lucky? I think it's Lucky. I always get them mixed up.
That right there is the sister and brother, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Is it Lucky or what?
I can't remember. It's Lucky or Ariel. I get them mixed up all the
Lucky.
time.
Lucky.
They're always together in
Okay.
every
Yeah,
scene.
it looks like Dr. Zayas has a gun pulled on him there.
He does.
Dr. Say.
Anyways, we get to see Death Sticks. And Death Sticks, it turns out this guy who was supposed to be training them and part of, once again, it's all going back to the syndicates, works for, he can hire out Death Sticks now because she works for Crimson Dawn. So does he, because he's part of a syndicate. So therefore, he can paralyze them.
I know Death Stick is like an assassin, and she's probably not paid to talk a lot, but hopefully one of these days we'll get more than these little 80s action film one-liners from her.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that exciting. I guess there was like 12 pages on this part of the story, and these are the best two I could get.
She whipped him pretty quickly. It
Yeah.
didn't put much of a fight.
No. We're done. Well, anyways, next up is Darth Vader 15. So Aphra was a 50-50 book this way. Not as terrible as it's been in the past, but getting a little bit better. We might actually review some of her better storylines. We've been thinking about doing that just because we've been so down on Aphra lately as a title. Either way, Darth Vader 15. You got the Q cover, which is dope. We've also got some battling going on here. This is what I don't understand, okay? The assassin is like the biggest punk in Star Wars, right?
Troll.
Like he comes in kicking guys, drink out. The guy knocks him out and is about to kill him. He's like, nope, Darth Vader. I'm Darth Vader. Darth Vader's got me protected. And that's all he does. No wonder he died in a desert in a sandstorm. So
Am
I wrong?
An entire 15-page fight scene from this freaking Commodore.
Isn't he supposed to be blind now too? I guess he's seeing maybe through cybernetics or something. But does he have
yeah, but he
cybernetic
never
eyes?
wins any. He's never won a single fight ever. Anyways,
He's usually fighting 30 people, though, at least the ones I've seen.
well, he fought one here and got knocked out real quick. So,
And his first appearance is
Okay,
still
I'm getting ahead of myself.
freaking $30 book.
when he fights the 30s later, yeah. So here we go.
Don't you think it kind of comes off, though, as how Boba Fett was played in the movies? Like, a bit of a goof.
Yeah, a little bit. I think for comedy, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Boba Fett. Where's Boba Fett? Oh, the assassin. Where's the assassin? Just knocked him out. I'm with Darth Vader. Anyways, they do give the backstory where it's Buku's actually, the whole thing has been a setup. Like Vader's already in there trying to tell him, we're going to take over one day for Jabba, but you're weak and you just got to be weaker. The whole book from War of the Bounty Hunters, where he tries to challenge him and Vader's like, who's that talking? He actually knows it was Buku because of this meeting right here where he's like, just play along and I'll hook you up. And then Vader neck punches the assassin and throws him out the door. So there you go. He got knocked out again twice, hits
And
the
he
ground.
Says, thank you, may I have another?
Yeah, I mean, so then he's on the ground and then he's got to fight. Where is this character from? He's from some video game, isn't he? He looks like he is. The people that are from the Crimson Dawn, the guy on the ground, the robot to the right.
I don't know.
He looks like something else. Either way, he runs
Looks
into
like
this guy. He's supposed to be
Dr.
hunting him.
Barbara.
They did this weird thing where he was hiding underneath the Crimson Dawn was hiding underneath a beer wagon with Ugnaughts on it. It didn't make any sense actually, but whatever. It did have wine on it. So the Crimson Dawn shows up. Now they're all these red robed beings that have mechanics, And he once again says, I'm Darth Vader's little peon. And they just start laughing and they're like, we don't care. And they proceed to start getting shot up. He can actually beat these robot things pretty well.
That wasn't Kira, though, right?
No.
The girl? Okay,
No.
No. It's some little
henchman.
I mean, yeah,
or henchwoman.
They get stabbed in the back. He actually kills a bunch of them, but they kind of take him out. And then Vader's there. Vader comes back and said, it was to draw them all out. And then Vader just crushes about 150 of them because they're surrounding him. And that's where we leave that off. I don't actually understand the point of Vader this week, but it was still, at least it was action packed, I guess. Mm-hmm. Next week, we've got a couple cool covers. We've got how if Rob Liefeld could draw, this is how he'd draw a foot.
Really huge.
Coming right at you.
Right at you. Toes. So we got the High Republic 9. Now, listen, the High Republic's finally supposed to be turning the corner. Even the solicitation for this is like, it's now time for the Nihil. We assume that Kiwi is the one that's supposedly like it says that one of the Jedi is going to be a traitor. We know that Kiwi's putting on the Nihil suit. So our two thought processes is either she's really not being a traitor or they actually are going to have, we know she is one of the Lost 20, so she could eventually, this could lead to her leaving the Jedi Order. Or it could just be some other Jedi that turns dark. Either way. And we've got Adventures next week. So it's a little bit another slow week, but at least we've got Adventures to brighten our day.
High Republic week.
Yeah, High Republic Adventures. Wow, look at that artwork.
It looks like they just gave up. We just put black on the back. Just not going to finish.
And they actually didn't give out the RI. And well, I did these slides like on Wednesday, so they didn't give the RI yet. So hopefully the RI is. Wow, this is bad. Okay.
I've seen the RI.
At least the book's pretty good. Well, it probably came out in the last couple of days.
Yeah, that's good.
Another thing, FOC though, thank you very much. We've got Vader's Castle coming back. They're gonna do a whole month-long Vader Castle like they normally do. It's that time of year again. Probably some of Calvin Scott's greatest work, and has something to do with what we're going to talk about later about the novel, because there's a certain family that shows up now in the novel and gives a little bit of backstory to them. So that's really cool. Looking forward to that. We always love
Dawn of the Droids. It looks like Dawn of the Dead.
Yep,
that's what it's supposed to.
Yeah,
Breakavilla, right?
But hey, do you think there's a lot of Jar Jar here? Do you think that's Jar Jar? And if it's Jar Jar, do you think they're going to do Darth Jar Jar?
Let's pick out a random gun to go on an adventure with us.
Darth Jar Jar.
That's that new gun to talk about in the novel.
First appearance, Jar Jar calling it. All right, there we go.
And also, Gungan.
Also, the bounty hunters are up on. I actually, once again, I think Strauss is outdoing himself. He's finally doing at least halfway decent. I mean, Dooku looks terrible, but at least the Grievous.
Short.
Yeah, the Grievous looks dope. Mm-hmm. So we got bounty hunters coming up in the FOC.
Yeah, Saruman is much leaner and taller. Like he's gonna need a little more height to him.
What did you guys think this week of comics? They were okay, right? They weren't terrible.
Not bad.
A couple firsts, but like nothing. They weren't great. They weren't bad. They were just there.
Are we much further along in the story?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen with High Republic there. And then, like, I hope now they're halfway done with the war. So they're going to now just go, like, fast forward, finish this off.
I thought Aphra was a little bit better, which was good because the last couple have been so not.
Aphra was. Yeah.
It's sad when Aphra is average and you're like, okay, it got better, a little better.
Right. I mean, even the second part with Lucky and stuff got better too, I thought. All of it as a whole kind of got better.
Something finally happened in both stories.
It seemed like
a few pages. I mean, the few pages, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 pages in Vader with Vader talking to Boku. I thought those were pretty good because it kind of gave some insight into their connection, and Vader saying basically, if you ever want to beat Jabba, you have to make him think you're so stupid that you can't tie your own shoes, and that's when you strike. So,
do you think it's a setup for later on for us seeing Buku later on? Like, because
I thought so at first, but if I mean, I don't know now.
I didn't think so till that conversation with Vader when he was like, "You just got to act dumb and hang out, and we'll take care of Jabba," because Jabba eventually dies, and like if Buku doesn't get killed here in the next at the end of War of Bounty Hunters, I mean, I know it's gonna be a 3-part with Kira, but like that means he could survive. We're coming up to time. We're coming up to Return of the Jedi. I mean, Jabba the Hutt's time period is about to end sooner than later. There's not much time left for him. So, I mean, it would be kind of cool. It'd be cool to get the Hutt Cartel on like live action or something again, or at least
you're hoping they're going to show up on the Book of Fett. You'll see Boku rolling in with his abs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I do. It would be kind of cool, like because Boba's got to go after somebody, right? And it's not going to be Jabba.
By the way, I wasn't here last week, or else I wanted to ask this question. How old is Jabba? I did not know he was old enough to be in the High Republic era.
Yeah.
Is it like 600?
I don't think he hasn't shown up in the High Republic era, has he?
Yeah. No. But they referenced him in the High Republic era, didn't they?
Yeah.
I know they lived to be very long.
Yeah.
They lived to be very old, but yeah.
No, because the old lady, what's the one that they made look with the pencil mustache, the funny one? And it's a stereotypical. They try to do a stereotypical.
What is her name?
Italian. No, the dude, the stereotypical Italian guy. I think they called him like Bruno or something like that. Yeah, don't you guys remember this guy?
Mario.
Yeah, they might call him Mario the Hutt. Like, no, when you look it up, it's something.
Mario
like
didn't have a pencil. That would be more of a.
No, they had the pencil. He's
big. He's Wario.
They turned it up a little bit. Either way, so they've done. That guy was old as hell, man. Before he got killed, before they killed him off. So,
yeah. What about Stinky? Well, we haven't seen Stinky, right?
We haven't. But think
have we? Because Stinky probably is not his real Hutt name.
Yeah. But think if
Buku.
Think if Buku could six-pack. No, because could be around the time. But think if Buku like kidnaps him and does the tutelage there or something to that effect. Was the tutelage for him? So
Yoda
he's about 600 in ROTJ. That makes sense. Ruben says he's 600.
So Yoda was like 200 years old when Jabba was born. There's a thought for you.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
300. But yeah.
Well, if Boku then was Stinky, then nobody would respect him because he'd be like
900 when he dies.
30.
Like 300.
600.
Vader in the next comic's just like, I remember when you were called Stinky.
That'd be hilarious. That would be funny. All right. Hey, Kyle, what's going on? Chad, good to see you. All right. Next up, what do we have? What is on the docket? We didn't even make the docket this week. So
no, we didn't.
We have no docket.
We should probably go into the Out of the Shadow characters.
Yeah, we can do that. Well, we don't have to. I was going to do the characters.
We have a C list. Wait, time out. We have a
tier
list to do. A tier list to do. Yeah, tier list to do too. I forgot about that. I think we should cover the novel, then do tier list. Is going to take forever. All right.
Go through the novel real quick.
Yeah, let's go through the novel real quick.
We can do the characters and the novel at the same time.
Yeah, we'll do characters and novel at the same time. So let's go. Did anybody send slides for the novel or no? Perfect.
Tough.
Good, because it's hard to send. So let's go through the characters and then we'll talk about what we thought about the novel. Here we go. Pete, you want to share it or you want me to share it?
You can share because I got the tier list up. When we get to that.
We'll do it next. Well, we got to get Making Mando, though. That's what I'm excited about. All right, tier list. Here we come. All right, so here are some of the characters of Out of the Shadow, just to get you caught back up. JJ, if you could.
All right, so there's Sylvester Yarrow, who is the, I would say, protagonist of the novel. And basically, so she has a mother that will come up for sure, Chancey Yarrow, and she's basically made a living since she was young as what they call a hauler, which is kind of like basically an intergalactic pilot. And
truck
her,
driver?
Yeah, more or less truck driver, yeah, intergalactic truck driver. So basically, not much else to know about her other than she carries a big blaster pack rifle. And she also was in a relationship with Jordana Sparkburn, who we're going to get to a little bit later here in character.
Did Jordana Sparkburn in the last novel, the adult novel, did she mention Sly at all or no? Sly has never been mentioned before?
Some, I didn't include mentions because they're not really appearances.
Okay.
But yes, most of them got mentioned. Most of the characters in here actually got mentioned in Into the Dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next up.
And some showed up in Into the Dark.
Yes. Yeah, that too. Or other books. Go ahead.
So Vanestra Rowe, or Vern, as only her Padawan can call her. Vern. Yeah. No, Ernest goes to jail jokes. Okay. So yeah. But it's basically she's a Jedi prodigy. She became a full-fledged knight, passing her trials at 15. She took on a Padawan actually at age 17. She invented in the last novel that we saw her in a relatively interesting weapon called a light whip, which is she kind of keeps a secret from everyone. She doesn't want everyone to know it, but she came to her in a
Saw it in
vision.
Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Whip.
So,
Whip.
yeah. And she was
Which makes
previously
sense.
the Padawan of Stellan Geos, who we've heard before in novels too.
I'd like to say something about the whip. It makes sense because it's the one thing you could spin around to, like when she's spinning around for all the blaster bolts to shoot them out everywhere, instead of the people that use one-handed. Like, remember we were looking at the cover and they're like using one-handed
we thought it was a
lightsabers.
Force thing. I think we settled that.
Yeah, so like
It wasn't
a
a
whip
wrist
makes
thing.
sense. If you go like this with a whip, all right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Next up, or keep going. Invented the whip. Is that it?
Yep, that was it for her.
Oh, she did save the daughter of the senator. Yep.
Yeah, that was in a previous children's book, but yes.
Okay. This is okay. Go ahead.
Wreath Silas, who is another Jedi. He's a Padawan, but he's basically kind of the same class and age as Vernestra. And he is the currently under Jedi Master Comac Vetus because his previous Jedi Master was killed in the original, what was it? The Legacy Run attack where the ship broke apart. So basically, he is kind of like the studious Jedi who would rather be researching stuff than actually in action, but he's always somehow reluctantly placed into the action. So, yeah. And he notes that he is fairly weak in the Force compared to his counterparts, and that's why he's kind of still a Padawan, even despite some of his classmen.
Is he though?
Already becoming knights.
Like he's 15. This one's like the only one ever 15 or whatever that became a knight. I don't know.
Well, he says it. He says it himself at one point that he's weak Into the Dark, but he said he's not as strong as the others.
Didn't his master, not his current master, but his previous master, think he was ready, but he's kind of
Yeah, he has a lot of self-doubt.
He was going to go in for the trial. His previous master was about to put him in for the trials when they got back, and then he ended up blowing up.
Yeah, and he was the main character of Into the Dark, the previous young adult novel. So,
and then they just worthlessly put him in this comic for no reason, or this book for no reason.
So all the Jedi anyway, in this novel, they've already made their comic book appearance, I think, right? In like 2 through 8 or 2 through 7 or something like that.
Except for, I think there was one I came across that hasn't. Oh wait, no, they all have because Comac was in the last one.
And Vestra was in the in the room.
Yeah. There's some other Jedi sprinkled in that we'll get to later when we talk more about the novel, but this is only the main characters I'm going over here real quick. Zylan Graf. So there's no real image for Zylan Graf. The only thing he's been in is this novel. But the Graf family, who we'll go over more later as well, is a relatively important family in the Republic. They actually funded the construction of the Jedi Starlight Beacon, and they're kind of rivals to the Senteca family. And that image that I pulled there would be one of his descendants. Yeah. No, that's Milo's father, Auric or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, is it? That's Auric?
That's Auric, yep.
So interesting little point, and this is probably why we had Star Wars Adventures there too. Kevin Scott has been sprinkling the Graf family around for a while. They're the main focus. They're a lot of times the narrators to the Vader Castle books. They are also, if you ever read Star Wars Adventures #1, they tell a backstory, and one of the great aunts turns up in it. But they kind of were filing it out. I thought it was very interesting what they did with it. We'll talk about it a little bit more later, but to do a rival family was pretty interesting. Yep. What else do you got?
So Jordana Sparkburn, again, no image, unfortunately, but she was a character I mentioned that was kind of in relationship with Sylvester Yarrow, and then they kind of split apart. But she is a distant relative of the Santeca clan. I think, like she said, like cousin far removed or something, but she's
Jordana
basically
Sparkburn. Why does that sound familiar?
She was in the last. She was in Into the Dark, or the other one.
No,
she almost died.
Yeah,
Jordan Sparks, an American Idol like contestant.
Probably.
No clue.
But I don't know
really where you pull your inspiration for character names from.
Could be.
Justina has got a couple more issues than that with this book.
But yeah. So
sorry, don't want to derail.
She has the position of deputy on a Santeca planet called TK. And the most interesting thing about this character, actually, there's something interesting at the end about her, but the most interesting thing I thought was she has a hunting cat, as kind of like a partner. I guess you could think of it like a canine into a police unit. But it's a Volca, which is a hunting cat, and it's pretty awesome.
It eats people's hearts out, which is kind of
yeah.
But it does not breathe fire.
No, it doesn't breathe fire. No fire.
Although it does have, did it like electrical power or something?
It's got electric between its ears.
Yeah, between its ears.
Weird.
And Lorna D, I won't talk too much about her. She obviously is a Twilight. We talked about her before. She's going to be more and more, I think, involved in this stuff. But she's a Tempest runner, so she's one of the primary lieutenants of Marchion Row.
Mhm.
Did I just say Marchion?
You
Is
did.
it Marchion? I
We just
listened to
go
this
with it.
audiobook too much.
Martian.
I know you meant.
That's how they say it in the audiobook is Marchion. Anyways, so she obviously is a pretty ruthless character, and is very ruthless even in this book.
Does she show up in this book?
Oh yeah, she does.
Very briefly. She's only in a couple of like.
She briefly, but I included her.
I know they
because-
mention her a ton, but
Yeah,
I don't remember. Okay. Right.
She's very in.
Oh yeah, in the
in the
beginning.
thing, but
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now.
There's that big Nihil meeting, and she's
That Nihil meeting with Ro. Yep. Mhm.
Yep.
Okay.
But yep. So that's pretty much it for her.
All right.
And Nan is an interesting character because we saw her featured fairly prominently in Into the Dark. But she is a young Nihil.
That's what
She's
she looks like.
That was the only image I could find, which I pulled from Wikipedia. So I don't know if that's an artist
Was
render.
that fan
or-
art? Fan
It
art.
could be an
She's a
artist
little more
render that they
friendly
used.
looking than I pictured her, but
Yeah.
that's pretty close. to
Well,
that.
don't forget, she's basically, she's kind of like the undercover Nihil, because her and another Nihil, whose name escapes me at the moment, were trapped on that space station and Into the Dark. And basically they posed as refugees. And, she basically grew close with Wreath and kind of tricked him in the end, basically for intelligence.
Yep.
So,
Huh?
Interesting.
next.
Okay.
Emitri Kantaros is the Padawan to Emery. I'm sorry, Emery. Kantaros is the Padawan to Vanestra Rowe. So he is the youngest Jedi. Actually, she's not a master. She's Jedi Knight, but he is slightly younger than her. I took it to be just a few years. They didn't really say. I think he's like 14 or 15. And he has a unique force power in that he has I don't know how to say it other than like severe empathetic or empathy power, where he can basically like sense even more than normal, sense people's feelings to the point where it like physically affects them. And he also has like a
He's an
strange
emo Jedi.
Yeah, more or less. Seems to have a strange obsession with lightsabers too, especially in the beginning of this novel. But he's been in a few others.
Because he lost his lightsaber.
Yeah, he lost his lightsaber, which happened in one of the previous novels. So, or actually,
It's strange that it actually seems to be more of a hindrance, at least at this stage of his training, than any sort of advantage.
And I don't think that was. I think that was something that she does in the book that we'll talk about later. But I don't think it was an obsession with lightsabers. I think it was an obsession with something else.
Could be.
All right.
Yeah. One quick note on him is in I think it was actually one of the young reader books. Children, he starts to use a force choke ability at one point and kind of starts to turn to the dark side. And Vern or Vernestra has to kind of coax him back out of that. But he kind of has. I don't know if it's because of the empathy power or what, but he has kind of that penchant to turn to the dark side a little bit.
So the one thing I kept saying about this was, I kept going, is this a young read? This is a young reader, right? Like it's a YA.
Yeah.
Young adult novel. Yeah.
Young adult.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
There's young readers like the children's. That's what they call it.
Whatever,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
just
I
saying.
read. I know that. I just okay. All right. Who wants to start off on their opinion of this
On the actual novel.
on the actual novel? Yeah, or any of these characters. Feel free.
So I'll say two things. First off, I like the story. I thought the story was good. It was in depth enough. It flowed really well. It was a little bit kind of meandering in the middle, as far as an all-on story goes, and then like everything kind of gets like smashed together in like the last like 9 chapters as far as the action goes. But there was a lot of character development there, and I liked how they connected a lot of stuff. And seeing like a character like Vernestra was interesting, and even Sylvester Yarrow, who I didn't think I was going to like as a character, turned out to be a fairly interesting character. And the relationship with the mother, who are we spoiling this novel? It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Right. So the mother being basically working for the Nihil, and she thought that
she doesn't actually work for the Nihil. She actually works for the grass.
Working with the Nihil.
Yeah.
Or pretending to.
Well, technically, because her aunt is Laura D.
No, she ends up working with the Graf. She works with the Nihil before that.
Because she ends up working with her cousin Lauren D, who actually is working with the Grafs. Yeah.
So I mean, she's like her aunt, like best friend type aunt. Obviously, they're not related, right?
Who?
I mean, they're different species. So aunt is in good friend.
Could be aunt as in her husband married.
Aunt by marriage, maybe. I don't know.
Aunt by marriage.
I think it meant aunt is in like when you say like a friend of the family aunt,
Right. That's
not like physical aunt.
Now I was just thinking her husband because all they did was talk about relationships in here. It probably was like
I can't see Lorna D having a husband.
No,
At least not for long.
I could. She probably killed him.
I think that because she was basically the one who employed her mother with the Nihil.
Yeah, that's how they got it.
So that's how they became friends, and that's how she became
Well, because
aunt.
they didn't believe in but that was kind of. I really like the end of this book. Jedi, what did you think about it? So me and Jedi read this book. You two listened to it. What was your opinion on the audio quality? Because
Terrible.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, for my opinion, I decided to read it for two reasons. One, it just happened to be at my LCS when I was in there, and the guy's like, "Hey, I just got this." And I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" Because I think JJ had already said that the audio was kind of a hot mess, so I decided, yeah, I'll read it. It's a young adult; shouldn't be too many big words. I liked it a lot. It had, unless I missed it, JJ, did you show Comac in your character?
I don't think I did. I was really going to.
Yeah, Comac is probably. I've said it before. Comac's my favorite character so far. He's kind of reminds me of the old Ben Kenobi type. Although the picture I saw, he doesn't look that old, but
he is though.
Reminds me kind of that.
Yeah.
The picture I found online had him very young.
I think he's like Qui-Gon-ish age, like where he's really old but doesn't look quite as old as he does.
Agreed.
So, yeah, he kind of reminds me kind of that type of character, the old Ben Kenobi type, wisdom, yada yada. So he's my favorite one. But overall, the book, I liked it, and then Marco kind of brought up some stuff which I'll let him get to, which kind of has me like, okay. But I liked it overall. I liked the character development. I liked where it ended up because, as I can't remember if I was on the air or not, but I said I think Vern is going to be pretty pivotal character going down the road, just based on how it ends with her. Since we're spoiling it, since she kind of does that mind melt with the old
Santikan.
I think her name
Maria Santikan,
the old lady.
Yep, Maria Santikan.
So now she has path knowledge, or at least a particular path that I think is going to be important down the road to fighting the Nihil. But I liked it. It's not. I liked it.
I found that part compelling. The ending with her, and that the fact that she was like kind of divided herself, I guess, through the Force into like two separate entities. One that basically like fed the Nihil, but one that was
book, I mean, all through the book, it kind of like sprinkles in this little like she has this power, like she can see things, but only when she's traveling through light speed.
When she meditates,
when she meditates,
which Thrawn novel readers will know is very familiar.
Okay? Seems a lot like the Skywalkers, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. I'm working my way through the Thrawn stuff now, but yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And then to see it kind of play out as that was pretty important to her final destination, at least in this novel.
To address the audiobook thing real quick and to answer that question, the reason why the production value of it was just bad. It didn't really affect the story. Yeah. You had the narrator, not as nearly as good compared to other narrators.
Who was it,
I looked at the name. Started with a K. I don't remember now. But unfortunately, I don't remember her name. But the problem was, like, everything was the same voice. She did a little bit of voice variation between male and female characters, but like every male character almost sounded the same, and every female character almost sounded the same. Which, when you're introducing characters in a novel, gets very confusing from the audiobook.
Irish accents, because I've never heard so many Irish accents as I have.
Nope. Unlike Mark Thompson, there was no thrown accents or anything. It's literally the same voice. It's like somebody was reading me the book, like physically just. And there's no music. There's no background Star Wars music like there normally is, or blaster sounds or anything.
Disappointing.
Yeah,
absolutely no production value, which made it even worse because the previous books I'd listened to audio, so I got really keyed in and really like. When certain people were talking, they had a different variation of their voice, a different, synthesized version of it. And they had Nihil music in the background, and they had all these other extras and lightsabers and blaster fire. So anytime that someone in this book talked and it was just that same narrator, it made it hard to follow. Because I kept expecting, like Lorna D, her voice in the other books is awesome. The way they did her and the way that and it's her. It was, I'm not a fan of the book. It was okay. And it had good content to a point, but man, talkie, action over.
Well, see, that's why I think how I read the book, it was a lot, and like I know some of it was the political like talk and stuff like that, which was fine, but it was like the last 120 pages was where all the action was.
Yeah.
Before that, and there's a pacing issue in this book too. We'll talk about it. But this is why I got a question with you, Jedi, is Comac, because you liked him so much. The one part that I didn't understand is why did he stay in the ship? He's the Master Jedi. Like, if you're sending anybody on to like a ship full of Nihil, aren't you sending the Master Jedi?
Well, I can answer that one. He was the best pilot. That's what he said.
Okay.
He was the only one that could man the guns, and he was the best pilot on board at that time.
I didn't know there was going to be a test. I'm sorry.
Okay. I guess if that's what you're going with, that makes a little bit
Also,
sense.
too, by the way, that, like you said, everything kind of comes in the last, like, I don't know, 9 chapters or so probably of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the name of that ship was awesome. The Vengeful Goddess.
The Vengeful Goddess.
That's how you name a ship.
Well, they had it earlier. So they had it earlier. He mentioned it earlier on, didn't he? Yeah. He's mentioned it a couple times.
Can I bring up something real quick?
Go ahead.
I know Marco's going to get into his, and he's great points that Marco has. We discussed them a little bit earlier. But hey, I say when because they're going to do it, they actually make this into either a live action, Disney, whatever. It's going to be mature, right? I mean, some of these scenes, unless they tamper them down, some of the like violence is pretty graphic.
Yeah.
At least
like the one where she invents a light weapon and literally
the light blade thing.
Like,
that thing's, what was that?
That sounded awesome.
What's the movie that had the spikes where the guy had the spike thing and he'd throw it and
Kroll?
Was it Kroll? Yeah.
The glaive.
Huh?
Glaive.
Yeah,
it was basically
Kroll.
Glaive. Yeah.
Yeah, Kroll. Yeah. It's like the same.
Sorry, you guys know I'm sitting out because I didn't read the book yet, so that's why I'm sitting in the sidelines. But you mentioned Kroll, I'm in.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars version of that, which is dope with a gauntlet that you can call it back, and just the descriptions. Like that's the part that like. There are some questions I had ahead of time and I didn't know the answer and I wasn't trying to look it up about the author. I do read a lot of books. I read YA. I don't stay away from it because there's some good stuff, especially in like the zombie and like all the apocalyptic stuff. So like it's good reads. There is a trope that some YA authors get into, and I believe it kills pacing in a book. And unfortunately, Miss Ireland, I believe, has fallen to that trope where not just relationships, but like every time Sly, because you didn't hear this earlier, but Jedi asked, every time Sly saw a female, no matter the age, stopped whatever emotional experience she was having at the time and decided to have an inner monologue about what the person looked like and if she found him attractive and everything else. And it was just to the point that it's like, this isn't like some beach romance novel where like, oh, I'm having a terrible day and and then all of a sudden the plumber knocks on my door and like he fixes my pipe. Like that's not what this is. Like it's a Star Wars book. Like some of the good stuff that she did in there, I think it stops the momentum even early on. You have that
cable.
What's that?
I'm doing a big Lebowski thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. But like you have that early on portion where it's like you got the big Nihil thing and then they kind of disappear, but you get the Nan. Like she did kind of a good job of Nan, but then it stops. Like everything she did, the mystery, like when she's giving you the information on the graph and even the good look, like you do the thing about how he's good looking and everything. I get it, but like at one point describing somebody compared to like obsessing over stuff and it didn't benefit her relationships, right? Are you gonna raise your hand on something here, JJ?
I was gonna say from watching the forums or whatever you call it, not the internet forums, but the video forums they do, like where they interview the authors and stuff. She was originally gonna have Sly or Sylvestra be attracted to Xylan, and that's kind of why she kept describing him as like a very pretty man and all that stuff. Because originally they were supposed to be like kind of a love triangle between Jordana,
which
her.
would have been fine. But even
But
with
she's changed halfway through, I guess, changed her mind to not do that.
which would have been fine for the YA. I can understand it happening. That love.
I don't have any
triangle
problem
thing.
with it. I'm just saying that was
No, but my
one
problem
reason
was
of
like,
her descriptions.
okay, so here, maybe for that, so you can explain that. Explain Vern then.
No, I think it's for sure she went to too much rather than like she used it kind of as the physical descriptor for everyone.
It like slowed down the action though. Like, but Vern had already been described by that point. So like you having her show up in a fit of rage and then stopping and then re-describing something we already heard about the eyelids and she's very attractive, cute girl, and then no relationship like building off of that. Like it's pointless. It's
she did build a relationship of that because her and Wreath. But yeah,
I kept waiting to see or hear
Vern.
about the Jedi.
You didn't catch on the fact that Wreath was attracted to Vern?
Okay, yeah, no, but she did it with Sly. Like,
I know,
Sly,
but
Sly saw
it's all relationship building.
Okay, so there's this whole mysterious thing going on in Jedi in the background that we don't know about yet, and for some reason she shows up to a senator. First thing she thinks about senator is like, oh wow, she's really attractive. She's got this, she's hot. Blah blah blah. What are you talking about, dude?
Like sitting around the lunch table right now. Is that what we're doing?
I mean, it was she kind of went to. You're right. She went to the well too much, and for some reason, like it stopped the motion because that part. If she walks in and is like, "Oh wow, this senator seems more like me, somebody from the outer region," she gives me the same grief, and then you go directly into, "Oh, these two Jedi set up, and it's a setup. I really don't trust this guy." That reads very well when you stop and pause and go like, "Oh, she's very attractive, and look at her hair and how it flops in the air and comes a quarter of the way over her face." And wow, I do like people quite like me that doesn't wear all this pompous stuff. She's just got the simplest of necklaces on, and she's very attractive. Like that stops the pace of the book.
Terrible.
And then the very next part was amazing writing. Like it deters her actual writing. In my opinion, it deters her writing. And it was funny because we were asking actually the page count, and this book took 45 more minutes to read. The page count was the exact same from the previous book, which is an adult novel. And, I think that was part of it. I think the pacing really slowed down.
How?
Huh?
Took 45 more minutes to read how?
Because when you sit there and go like, where's this going? Because all of a sudden when you're reading,
at the speed you're reading or whatever.
Yeah, the speed I'm reading. So like at the speed I'm reading, it took 45 minutes because like there's parts where like you try to put stuff together while you're reading.
That's a subjective opinion, to be honest. I mean, that's because you didn't find it.
That's what this show's about is a subjective opinion.
I know. I'm just saying that's.
But also I think it would help give context. So how long are we talking overall? So that.
So the description of. In page-wise, the description typically was a page and a half to 2 pages of her feelings of horniness towards any female that showed up.
Which I kept waiting for.
She was only in a relationship with one woman, which is fine. I'm not saying she should have had all these relationships, but Jedi brought up good points. So he said, yeah, they did the Aphra thing. I said, no, they didn't. Because Aphra, when she has these inflations with men or aliens or females, it actually is, it's a psychopath of a relationship. It's a crazy ass relationship, but a relationship built on romance blooms out of those situations. Justine just wrote it for whatever. And I understand what you're saying, that it could have added description, but in the book, there's already descriptions of these people ahead of time. The only thing she did was re-describe them the exact same way, but added like infatuation points on top of that and extended it through it, which was, like, no offense, I didn't need it in the book, and I felt it slowed down. You knew she was really good, though, because the last 110 pages, the pacing was so fast. It was so good. It was so exciting. Like, if she would have kept that through the book, I think the book would have been better. It was a good book. Don't get me wrong. I liked it, but, like, I don't know.
We won't go down a rabbit hole of Aphra, but since we brought it up in the pre-chat or pre-talks, I've been thinking about it. So Aphra's kind of built up as a very compulsive kind of personality. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes sense that she might have these quick little outbursts of, hey,
right,
don't mind you hugging up against me, anytime, pardon my dance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that Sly was actually meant, or at least in my opinion, has that kind of personality like Aphra. So yeah, I agree.
And maybe the cutoff of like, well, how they were going to reduce the graph situation where she's not in a love triangle anymore. Maybe if you added that, I still don't think it would have added any better. I don't think it would have made it those portions.
It also
any better.
doesn't help. You guys keep calling her Sly because I just see Stallone every time you say it.
It's Syl. It's actually Syl in the
Is that
book.
how they say it? Yeah, Syl.
Sylvester or
Well, I mean,
something
Well, her name's
Sylvester
Sylvester, so
Stallone,
it's
they
S.
call him
Syl.
Sly,
Oh, yeah,
so-
I guess.
That's one problem kind of I had with this novel is, well, with the exception of maybe Jordana and somebody like Emery, whose name is already short. Everybody had like an abbreviated name, like a nickname.
Well,
I did.
I was
I,
happy about that. I was
Yeah, me too.
ecstatic about that.
Mhm. And I think that she went to the well too many times with the Vern thing. Like, we get it. Like, we get the teenage angst of like, call me by my real name. Okay, whatever.
Gotta keep playing devil's advocate a little bit more. Do you think that the problem you had with it is like typically in a young adult novel versus a full-fledged novel, you're looking at things from fewer characters' point of view, and you were always seeing or meeting people mostly, not always, but mostly through Syl's point of view. Therefore, her point of view in describing somebody would be different.
Because I can't remember all of them, but there's a couple series like Parasite and stuff like that I really like. And they are all through, they're actually all through the vision of a singular, like teenager to early 20. Well, because eventually they turn 20-year-olds. So like this character type or trope, I've seen it through before. I wouldn't have read them if they did what they did with Syl here. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I've read it better. Maybe that's the problem. Is because I'm familiar with YA that I've read it better. So that's it.
I thought Into the Dark was a better young adult novel than this one was.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a bad
agree.
novel.
I agree. 100%.
They're both young adult novels.
There was,
almost the exact same thing.
there was a lot better written ones. I agree, Marco. Totally. Percy Jackson is all kind of one point viewpoint and description, and those books were awesome and they were really good. I kept feeling like this was going every time it'd get going, even though it was so much dialogue in the middle. I kept waiting to hear like, oh, and the Jedi sat on the rock and he opened his tunic and the sun hit him and he sparkled. Like I didn't want to read Twilight again. It kept going.
Where you going with this?
Instead of vampires and werewolves, it was
wait.
again. And
I think it's two different things we're
Jedi
talking
and
about.
Did you just say I didn't want to read Twilight again?
Yeah, and he said again.
It's all right.
Well, see, I think that's two different things we're talking about. You're talking about how YAs come off sometimes. I'm talking about the actual character development, where it was a stopping point in the character development because you were having us read 2 to 3 pages of nonsense that had nothing to do with anything. If she got in a relationship with Vern, that would have maybe been a different situation. But it just, or the senator or something.
All right.
But
it was
being the guy who didn't read the book, I think it's time for us 40-plus-year-olds to stop talking about the young adult novel.
Yeah. Well, hey, by the way, it was a little shady too because they had a 20-year-old something hitting on like a 15-year-old, so like that was also a little shady. So
thank you for bringing us back out of the rabbit hole, Pete.
Yeah, thank you,
I'm just saying.
Besides that, I think they could have done a better job. Like Wreath was wasted. Wreath was 100% wasted in that book, but I do like what they did without having Dee and Ro in the majority of the book. How they developed those two how she developed those two characters was fucking brilliant. Like because you're right. I forgot that they were even in the book because they were in the like very small in the front, like 1 chapter, 2 chapters, and that was it. And how she developed their storyline was amazing. It really was. But once again, that was in the back half of the book.
We know more about Dee in this book than we've learned probably about her in almost any other book. And like you said, she wasn't really in the book.
No.
But you learn way more about her motivations and everything in this book than anything else.
And by the way, if you aren't if we are going to pat ourselves on the back because we thought she was a very important character, and she may now be the most important character in this whole thing.
It's going to connect to a lot. It's going to connect to the comics.
Connect to a lot.
She's going to connect to the audiobook coming up. So,
all right. Besides that, do we want to give it? We only got clones, but do you want to give it a quick 1 out of 5 rating, real quickly, for those people who just judge it on content, not the listening style or the reading style? Do you want to just?
If it's just story, I would give it probably a 3.5.
Fair. So
2.5.
Okay, Jedi.
I'm going to give it a 4. I really enjoyed it. I think it was actually easier for me to remember some of the especially the names and stuff because I was reading it versus listening. Listening's easy, but it also, as far as retention of information, reading I think paid off. Pays better dividends. So I'm going to give it a 4. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that like 3. I'm in that 3.5, almost 4. Almost 4. You know, almost 4. It's almost right there. A couple-ish off of being a 4. I mean, I do credit it as being a YA, so I give it kind of a curve for that. You know, it's not directed exactly towards me. So, but yeah, I mean, I got it in there, and I just like I said, I think the pacing, just because it was what it was, but they did great stuff with a lot of characters. I actually think she did a better job with the supporting characters, excluding Wreath. She did a lot better job with all of them than she actually did, probably even with the main character. I would say the main character I'd give a 2.5, 3 to, and then I'd give like Ro 5, like just flat or D 5, the mother 4.5. You know, the Padawan. The one that's got the one that flips out all the time.
Yeah.
Emery 4. You know what I mean? Jedi's favorite 4. You know, there was a lot of cool stuff in that book. And Maz, they brought Maz up too.
Yep.
You know what
Actually,
I mean?
yeah, there's a lot of, I was going to mention that there's kind of a lot of like guest appearances, I guess we want to call them that, or cameos. I can't remember his name. I always want to say Oberon, but that's not his name. But like the guy who's just in the Adventures comics, the master that kept falling asleep.
Oh, yeah.
But he was in there for a short bit.
Yeah.
And
there's
also
a lot of cameos.
Yeah, there's a lot of cameos. And the senator is Sanastaros's grandmother?
Yeah. The slime Jedi, whatever his name is, the slimy guy.
Yep.
Slime Jedi.
And then obviously they had all the grass and the Santikas in there and everything too, and Maz, and yeah, it was really cool. All right, cool. Well, hey, we have a segment on Renovision on the Wednesday show called The Tier List. We do it every Wednesday, me and Pete does. JJ asked us if we could bring it over here, video game Star Wars. So we're going to do a 2-part section on that. Pete, if you could pull it up real quickly. I go refresh my drink. You guys can, I can refresh my drink.
Just real quick, Shannon Fisher in the chat is right. Yaddle was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was that? It was surprising. Yaddle.
Interesting.
Female Yoda, yeah.
It was kind of funny because it's something I want later with the Mark Hamill. He messed up. He doesn't actually know much about Star Wars because he said he was the only one who's ever interacted with somebody of Yoda's species before. I was like, bro, come on, bro. Come on. Anyways, all right. Explain tier list, Pete. I'll be right back.
What do I got to explain it? Well, basically, a tier list is just kind of built out of there's rank. It's like a ranking system, as you can see. You know, think of it like your school grading system, A, B, C, D. Except in addition to that, there's an S level, which kind of harkens it back, I think, to some of the card playing game type level up. And then we also added the trash below the D because we just needed a little bit extra. Just so you're basically ranking these things, whether they be characters, comics, and in this case, we're going to be doing the video games, the Star Wars video games. So as we go through the list of games that we have for today's portion, we're going to throw, basically a game up there, and we're just going to talk about it real quick, and we're going to come up with where it kind of fits in this ranking system. Will we have any S tier? Great, superb games, special games? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Will we have some trash?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Been waiting to talk Star Wars games for a while. It's going to be good.
The beauty of this is interactive. You guys watching right now with us, please let us know as we go through the games, your call, because it should sway the list. It's not just all up to us. We're all going through this together. And if we need to re-rank, move something, we'll do that. Or at least that's what Marco and I do when it's just the two of us. It's going to be a little different with 5 of us, I guess, running it today. It's a couple extra voices that might help clear things up. But still, we still need you guys, the viewers, to chime in and let us know what you think about these games. What, your favorite bits about them, because while I might not have cared for, like, say, the original NES whatever game, like that might have been your favorite because that was your introduction to the Star Wars universe or gaming or something like that. Personal connection. You don't have to have a complete rationale either. This is strictly opinion based. There is no right or wrong answer unless Marco wants to rank Black Knight below B.
He's
That's
not
the
the
wrong
Black
answer.
Knight, bro. Just not the Black Knight.
Just
He
I'm
wasn't.
just saying.
also remember too that there are 2 parts to this, so we'll be doing it next week
Yeah,
too.
we have more.
So
don't,
if your favorite game's not on this list, it might be up next week. So,
yeah, it might be up next week. So don't try to kill us. Be like, where is it? Where is it? Like, just relax. We got more.
shall we
I
begin?
think I gave it an intro there, Marco. when you
Good.
refreshed
Let's
your
go.
memory, so.
Let's go. I'm ready. Chat's
Ruben
ready
says
too.
every Star Wars game is an S.
Hey, chat's ready. They're
That's
hey.
not true.
Ruben's asked it. This is fun. Some of these guys already know
Ruben,
it, right?
Sorry,
Like,
it's not true. They're not all great.
All right, what are we starting with?
oh, do I got to do it? We're doing it like that way.
Because I got to do the ranking bit. So.
Okay, so we put them all in here. All right, here we go. All right, we're
I named
starting
it
off.
this time so you can figure out which one's which.
Oh, we're starting off with the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, Star Wars, like the Star Wars. The little what was this 8-bit, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good old NES. But I was not a fan.
No.
No, it was the hardest. Well, I was the hardest. Partly it might have been because I was young, obviously, when I played it.
Yeah.
For the most part, but I've gone back and played most of these since then, and it's still like a horrible platformer.
Doesn't it seem like a
Technology
bad
is right
Odyssey
there.
game? It seemed like a bad Odyssey game, right?
Yeah. And I mean, back in those days, like you couldn't. I mean, you think like Mario is a platformer, so a lot of games are going to be like, but no, like a lot of games were made like this where they were not very good.
Oh yeah,
So, like
just like
I'm-
hark back
I'm
to
just
Atari. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I don't play any of these games, but I'm going to go by cover art, and that is a classic, although I think inverted Star Wars poster that they've chosen for their box. So
I
I'm
said there
gonna
were
say
no wrong
it's
answers.
It actually,
I
I like how JVC2 was the people that put it out. Furthermore, also does look like a tabletop. I think everybody's, is this trash? Because was fun. Wait, no, Nicole, no. She said B. We got to put it in the B's. I don't think we
I gotta
go
go
B.
D. I mean, if we're taking
No,
mine,
Stick's got a B. All right, wait. We got a bunch of D's and we got a bunch of B's.
Yeah.
B
so
for
we put it in
time.
D.
You know what this means? Hey, we're not doing mobile, by the way,
Yeah,
James.
we're not doing mobile.
Not doing
We're
mobile.
doing
Yeah.
So I think we have to go
There-
C with it. I think
There's
it's gotta
literally
go
like
C.
close to like 100 Star Wars games if you include mobile and like what were the other platforms, like portable platforms, and so we kind of had to limit it to console and PC
Oh, you
only.
started this.
So.
I know. C, yeah, we're gonna give it the C.
We're gonna
So-
give, you know, I don't feel too bad about giving the C because I was gonna give it a D too because this is kind of the original. So I think we give it a bump.
C
Put
can't
me
be.
in the
See, we're getting a lot
first
more
one.
C's here. I think it's
It
gonna
wasn't
fall into the
great.
C line. All right, good. Well, this one, by the way, so
You
next
don't
up is
get that same
NES
bump.
Ever
You don't
Strikes
get that
Back.
same bump coming back.
The only thing I'll say about this is this one actually they did a better job. Like,
No.
I mean, the getting on the Tauntaun was stupid, right? Like in some of the, but like,
Dude, the Hoth level sucked. Screw this game. The freaking game where you had to like wrap around the like.
It was tough.
ATT walkers. Screw
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, the ATT, you had to wrap. You had to plunge it and then wrap around
Yeah,
it.
I'm
And
gonna
the
trash
controller
this game
was on the
because that was
floor
horrible.
tick, dude.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
Trash this
look at
game.
The Wampa looks like he's like smaller than Luke.
Oh, it is.
Little tiny
Yeah.
Wampa.
Yeah, but they kind of used the Mario Brother format for this one. On
Also,
some of
too,
the
that
levels.
those Hoth ice levels are like burn into your eyes from the ice
the
being so
blue.
bright. Yeah.
So are we doing anything above D on this? Because I don't think Nicole doesn't
I'm
know
comfortable
above
with
D.
trash, but if the chat
You're
wants
going
to say
trash?
I trash this game.
Really?
I mean, it's not. I'm not the only opinion.
Hey,
You put it where
Ruben
you
got it
want.
right. Just because you can't game doesn't mean it sucks.
Hey,
Absolutely. All right, can somebody save it for the
I was
trash? 'Cause I think it
6,
should be D. I actually thought the upgrade of graphics on this was a lot better. Yes, it was tough. The spin. Well, the problem with the spin around thing was like you either hit it or you didn't hit it. You know what I mean?
It's just, you're spinning around in 2D. Like, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
but I mean that was pretty dope back then, right?
Yeah.
No.
no.
C. I never played that one. C minus. That's a D. C minus is a D. We got it. D's
What?
fine.
I'm
Trash
just
People
D.
keep mentioning the Atari ones, which were better in my opinion. But also too, fun fact about both these, they had different versions in Japan.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they weren't
Famicom?
Lucasfilm games. Yep, they were.
All right, we haven't put it in D yet.
yeah, for Famicom.
I just stuck it in D for now. We're gonna move.
Yeah,
it.
no, I mean we
can
haven't put in trash yet. We haven't trashed anything yet, so this is good.
Nope.
I mean that's close because I thought we were going to trash any NES Star Wars, but okay. We
I mean,
got
it
trash
wasn't like Friday
game.
the
Here we
13th
go.
or
NES,
ET.
Super NES, Star
I
Wars.
played this one. I actually played this one.
And
All right.
And
What else? Come on.
Well, I have a story. I
Go
actually
ahead.
bought this. I bought this in Hong Kong in a port visit, and what I didn't know is that it was made for, I guess, the Asian version or the overseas version.
Oh,
of
you
the
bought the Super
NES.
Famicom version?
Super Famicom.
And it would not fit into my American console, so I actually had to carve a notch.
No!
into the-
yeah, that's how you beat
into
it.
the
Yep.
cartridge.
Mhm.
I had to carve a notch into the console in order to get it to fit and play. And I went through all that trouble, and I never beat the game.
Yep.
But
The good old-
was the only one I ever played.
No, I
The
was
good old
gonna
days
ask
when region lock was easy to override with a
Right.
nail file.
Right. I was just gonna ask him though if he still got it, because if he did and didn't tamper with it, it's probably worth a lot. But since he did,
No,
But what'd
It's
you think of the
actually
game? What'd you think of the game?
I couldn't get past I don't think I could get past the Mos Eisley level. So I don't know what I don't even know how it ends. I don't even know what the rest of the game looks like. I could not get past Mos Eisley.
Well, you've seen
This game
Star
was hard.
Wars, so you have some idea.
It was not a great game.
Remember the scorpions in the movie Star Wars? Remember the first
Yeah,
movie?
the big
Yeah, the
scorpions.
one
Yeah.
that shot
Big
fire.
scorpions.
Duh.
Yeah, the one that shot fire. This
Yeah.
game was trash. It was hot trash.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
I hated this version. Trash.
I'll get more into this as we go through the other
I
versions.
broke
of
my
this, but
car.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm
A
going.
graded version of this is on sale. I've seen the graded versions of these unopened. They're like $6,000 on
Mhm.
right now.
Are they?
Yeah, but yeah,
Is it
remember that's
ABC
sealed.
ABC still making it too. Look at
Sealed.
that.
Correct,
Yeah,
yep.
unsealed is
Expensive garbage.
different, but
Can anybody save this from the trash can?
I think Chat's
Me?
wanting to, but Ruben's
Solid D?
gonna save all these.
No, hey, we got. Yeah, he's trying to save it
I'm
all.
comfortable with trash.
He broke his car. I think it's trash.
It was
Those
tough.
Womp
I'll
Rats?
agree with Jedi. It was
They-
tough. I
They
couldn't
might have
believe
been.
it.
I don't know
Dude,
what they
Womp
were.
Rat shoot
Steve,
fire
no.
at you?
Yeah, Womp Rat shoot. No.
They
yeah.
do when you start targeting them with your,
With your
Luke
blaster
just
that
being a
has no
little
power.
psychopath
This was
going
Pete's
every
favorite
Womp
game,
Rat
wasn't it?
on the-
Was this Pete's
on the
favorite game?
planet.
Peter, you gonna save this one?
I just want to say D, but if you guys want to trash it, I'm not.
D's
Gonna,
fine,
He's
but,
fine. I think it's garbage.
I'm not going to die on this bridge.
Flush. No, garbage. We got too many. Too many people flushed
Yeah,
it.
too many people. I'm fine.
Yeah,
That's
too
fine.
bad not to trash. Right. Thank you. All right, it's garbage. It's been there. All right. Next up is NES.
You wanna keep
Oh,
rolling?
Look, it's the same game
Jesus
almost.
Christ. It is literally the same game with more jumping, though. There
You know
was
what?
more jumping in this game.
Well, that's worse though, because they were bad platformers with poor hit detection.
Yeah.
Like freaking Cloud City level in this game? You gotta be kidding me.
No, remember you could get the super cheats, though? I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
but then
I'm
you're
just saying.
cheating. You're not really playing it, but yeah.
I know, but like for the Cloud City level, you had to. Oh, we broke Ruben's heart. Use death sticks to get past Scorpion. It's a turd Pete. What do we do? With turds, we flush. Yeah. As Astra said, it's a turd Pete. What do we do with turds? Flush them. I think we got a double flusher here.
Down here?
Does anybody get to save this one? I don't think. Yeah, I think I could let for just pieces of nostalgia. I might be able to save the first one from the trash, but the second
what I
one
was
was just
thinking.
not garbage.
Mhm.
That's
I don't
what I
know.
was thinking.
All right.
It was
No,
more the
good lord,
nostalgia.
no. Why? How did we put all three of these on here? Except for I will give it this one. The fight scene that they just showed here,
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
The saber work and the sound effects in this game
Yeah.
were markedly better.
Yeah.
Probably because they learned how to program for the Super Nintendo better at this point. But
The cover was terrible though.
yeah. Now let me say this as we get to the end of this. So these three games we've all said were not great, right? Indiana Jones, developed
Mhm.
by the same company using the exact same engine and platform and everything else. They squashed all three of those movies into one game for me, so I only had to play that terrible game once.
Right.
Unfortunately, this I had to play the same terrible game about 3 times.
But
That's
this
all I'm
one
gonna
was
say
a
about
little bit better. I think if we trash the other two, this one gets into the D realm. And
I can
think-
see, like I said, the sound effects and stuff were a lot better.
Yay!
Yeah, we did put them. We put some. We tried to combine. Joe said I saw 4 JVC games in a row. We did try to combine
did
some of the
5.
similar games, similar styles at least. That way, when we were talking about them, we could have a similar ranking for them.
Wait,
All right.
wait. I gotta address something real quick. Comics, Sticks Boy,
Mhm.
with that comment. Super Nintendo only had one good
Oh.
game. It was Super Metroid and Mario.
No.
Somebody never played Zelda.
Yeah.
A Link to the Past is probably the greatest game of all
Chrono
time.
Trigger, my friend.
All right. Which one was
Now that we've gone down that
Lots
rabbit hole,
of them.
back.
Which was- yeah, no, let's get out. We're not doing that. All right. What was next? Okay. Oh, good lord.
Whatever you want to do. Well, I'll give
So
you good lord.
Good
the
lord,
graphics got better.
what are you talking about? Okay, this was a huge jump.
Yeah.
And this was like the first good. Well, I shouldn't say the first. This was one of the first great Star Wars console games. It was like Star Fox.
It was
but-
It was a bad ripoff of Star Fox.
Yeah, but it was awesome because it was Star Wars, and Star Fox was good.
All right,
Yes.
I feel that. I mean, I don't think it was trash, but I don't think it's
Whoa.
A level.
I threw it
I don't know
down.
about S.
No, it's not S. Get out of here with that nonsense. No.
All I played on the N64 was Rogue Squadron and GoldenEye.
Hey,
That's
I'll
all
get-
I needed. That's all I had to play.
we ripped Pete's other favorite games. I'm going to give him this one.
We cannot give him S on this. First
right.
off, James, no, Ruben's with them. We cannot give. This game was
I'm
not S.
comfortable with
tier.
A. I'm comfortable with
It's
A.
a solid A.
I
That
thought
is
it
a
was
solid
B.
A
He
all
gave it a
day.
C.
The worst
I
part about
liked
this
it.
was you had to have the jump pack
Yeah.
or the expansion pack. I'm sorry, but yeah.
All
same
right.
thing.
If one more person gives it an A, we'll put it into the A tier. I think it's B. And James
a
got it at
solid
C.
A.
Pete's in control. I don't think he's moving it.
I'm not moving until you make me.
No, we can't move it to one more
Chat's got to
person.
make
A.
me move it.
He's got the votes right
I'm
now.
going to give Pete an S.
I'll give it some time. All right, we'll leave it up there. But A, all
All
right. Here's got a put an A. A tier
All right,
it is.
I'm not until I see what you guys try to put above it. I'm not going to argue with it.
Okay. First off, Astro gave it a B, so it's definitely A now. B.
Yeah,
B.
it's a
Staying in
Thank
A.
you. Everybody thinks it was a B. We're not talking about GoldenEye here. B. You can't give him an S.
Jedi cheated.
Yet I can.
Put an S in there.
To the
It's
chat.
all
To
in
the
here is
chat.
it's on top right now.
Look,
It
all the
doesn't
B and
matter
C
ranking.
people are saying that
It's on
A is
top
okay,
right
so we'll move it to A. We can't have that. S. Get out of here with S tier.
Oh,
Come on.
that game was great.
Yeah, it's A. A's great. A's great. It's not superior though. I mean, it's just not the supreme. Oh, we
Next.
didn't put. Oh, we did put the rest of them out there. Okay, good.
Yep.
All right.
Still
Rogue-
great. Now this is
Yes.
how a Hoth level is done in a video game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this was a way better Hoth level. Like
S
this is.
all day.
It's not S.
It's
I'll stick with
S.
A in this one. I still think it was great. But
I lived
I
on
put
that.
Star
was- I
Foxes
wasn't- I didn't-
around this
wasn't big
time.
on
I
the
still have
GameCube.
Star Foxes like what S would be, and it did feel like just a knockoff version for the other one. GameCube was okay.
That
This
the
was
best graphics, best sound, newest ingenuity. They based all the following game engines off of.
Plus,
this
I finally
one.
had a reason to buy a
Flight
GameCube
Simulator.
except for Zelda.
Like that.
Yeah, I didn't
Super
Rogue
Smash
Leader-
Brothers, bro.
Wasn't my thing.
That Rogue Leader
Super
was-
Smash Brothers.
Oh, Ruben's
so
right. It does
good.
get a little bit of a boost because there was the arcade level or the arcade game built into it.
Yep. That game is
A.
S all
We can
day.
go A. I don't think we're going S. Let's see what the
That was
correct
an
chat
S.
says. A.
I feel bad
A.
giving it an S because
S.
no, I'm saying I feel bad because
Ooh.
Rogue
Ooh,
Leader.
we
my
might.
heart is still with first.
We got two
Hey.
S's. We got two
Now-
A's, two S's, and a B.
I'm trying to remember all these games. This one you could get out or no? Or is that the next one?
Let's see, because I thought it was that one. Because I thought it was right around.
I know the
one.
third one you can.
This one,
Yeah.
the third one you
Yeah.
can, yeah.
But that
Wasn't
was
it
awesome
here?
too. with
It was
using
this
the
one right
thing.
here because you could get a new speeder, couldn't you?
Yep.
Snow
Yep.
speeder.
That one. In fact, I still have that in my GameCube. After this, I may have to plug it in and play it.
Yeah, and then it will be S. S.
Still in the GameCube.
All right,
That is
we're
the S.
they're going. We're going A with that.
It's sticking
Hey.
in A right now.
Sticking in an A. Okay.
Sticking it to A. All right, next up,
Third one, Rebel
we
Strike.
got- Third one. You
And as
know
much-
what? It was okay, but it was actually clunk for as much as the second one was A tier. This probably was B.
think so.
It was a
I'm comfortable with that.
disappointment.
Yeah, it was a little bit more of the same.
Yeah.
So
It was a little clunky too in how some of the movement
Yeah.
was.
It was a C. It was a solid. It
C?
was a letdown
C?
after what they did
C?
with the first
Alright.
Rogue Squadron.
All right,
I could be comfortable with B, but I
I
don't know.
think it would be comfortable B too.
I can even go play this one on my GameCube as well.
Okay, well that
Where are we
doesn't
throwing
it doesn't
this?
up the ranking at all. Put it in
No,
B.
it's a C.
We'll leave it. I'm fine with the B. We'll throw it in the middle there.
B's good.
That's a high middle.
All right, we get KOTOR.
S, no
Next
discussion.
up. It is. It is.
This started everybody's Revan
assessment.
amusement.
But you could be Revan with boobs or Revan without boobs. Which one were
Yep.
you?
I played it both ways.
I did too. Yeah.
Dude, you had to play this. Now, this was one of the greatest because it was a Star Wars game. Like, if you didn't play this multiple times in multiple ways, you weren't doing it right.
How many times did you just go randomly out there and try to beat the talking and just start beating up Tusken Raiders and try to cut them down?
I have a problem with like tactical RPG games like this where I like get frustrated. Like, man, I should have built my character a different way. Like 10 hours into the game, so then I scrap it and go back and rebuild them. But yeah.
I do the same thing. Like, man,
what was your first lightsaber colors? Were they?
I was a Sentinel, so it was yellow.
Oh yeah.
Then I was like, that's stupid. So then I went.
See, no, but I think it was at the time it was cool because how many yellow lightsabers did you have, right?
Yeah, no, there was none.
Yeah, so you're like, I'll be the yellow lightsaber. So I think that was kind of cool. I'm not quite sure it's what people think it is. Like when I hear people explain like nowadays what Revan what, and I'm like, you never played this game, did you? You have no clue what this game actually is, do you? But whatever. I mean, it's S tier. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that, right?
And there were multiple, and now we're getting to the point. Even though I put on the pictures like a version, we're hitting the point where there's multiple versions of these games, PC versions, the other consoles and whatnot. So we're not getting that far into it to rank which console or version was best.
Like Sticks Boy says, this on PC that game did kind of fall flat. It ran crappy
on PC. It did.
Yeah. So a lot of
they
bugs.
do the reboot now, so I wonder if it runs better.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they've changed it up since then. But when it first came out on PC, it took a while to come out too on PC, if I recall. I don't think it was maybe it was same time. No, I think it was the second one that took like forever.
I'm with James. Anything that BioWare put out too, I love, man.
We're sticking with an S on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he said he said it was a C on the PC. I know, but I'm
also seeing A's.
Oh, for people that played on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good
argument.
But
everything that made it a good game, I mean, it was buggy, but the story...
Well, we can always re-rank. Like, there's always time to re-rank as other things come up. Like, it's be like, you know what? Once apples to apples are sitting next to each other, be like, you know what?
Also,
you don't feel right sitting next to me.
Keep in mind, we had no exposure to the Old Republic era prior to this game.
It was cool because you could choose the lights. Like, the character you play, you could choose... It was like you could customize them. But I mean, I like RPGs, so like that was kind of my thing. Like
at this point, there was maybe a couple comics and novels. I think that was about it. I don't even know if the comics were out for Old Republic era prior to that. But
even though the comics in Old Republic era aren't the same story as this, anyways.
Yeah.
No.
Whatever version your experience was the game is what you can choose for your argument and your ranking. Again, I just assigned a picture because I had to pick one. So.
And play through the game. Just don't use Mission. She sucks. Unless you need to unlock something.
All right, the second one.
I still got to go S. I liked it just as much.
Game of the year.
I thought the story was good in this. I don't know if... I don't know, man.
You're like that whole... Obsidian isn't BioWare, so this game's not as good. Is that what you're...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just wasn't the same feel, I think. I mean, I think it's still B or A. I'm not saying it wasn't, but...
I put them both in S. That's me. But
I thought it was B. It didn't grab me as much as the first one did. I thought it was a solid B.
You guys are not helping. I got chat saying S. We got JJ saying S.
No, story... No, look. He's right. The story was good. The gameplay was clunky. Yeah. I agree. Story S, game A. Yeah. Hey, it wasn't as good. Yeah.
A's fine. A's fine by me.
Yeah.
Unless you want to die on that hill, JJ, go ahead, start swaying people.
A's fine. But
no, Sticks, you should send one to me, Sticks.
My biggest problem with that game was always the when you face off against like the Sith triumvirate, like the three, like you instantly kill them. How are these guys Sith lords?
But, it was so clunky. I gave up. I never finished it.
I mean, KOTOR, the original one was rough around the edges a little bit. Like,
it was, but I think because it was so cool that you could like switch up all the stuff with the first one. You know what I mean? Like you got
to choose the edges. You mean corner scuffing?
All right, we're done. We're done with that. The MMO when it was free, it was pretty good.
Still free, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but when it started off as a pay.
Yeah, well, they all do.
Did it?
I never paid for it, so I only played it when it was free.
We'll put it this way: all these years later, it's still one of the few games up and running.
Yes.
It is. But they keep adding expansion packs for free to it. That's part of the reason.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Dude, but I will tell you this: the cinematic scenes for this, if you've never seen it before, the cinematic cutscenes for that MMO. Did I just move it? I just moved it, didn't I? I did.
You didn't move it. You just picked the wrong
you just
picture.
went to the next one.
No, I did. I moved
you
it.
go.
It actually slid down. Yeah, the
Oh,
cinematic scenes for this are amazing.
Mm.
Like, and you kind of want to flush. I think that's why I always like the Hutt Cartel is because of this game, and like, I want to flush out the twins more. I actually think the storyline on this is way better. The actual storyline is way better than the other two games combined.
The expansions have made this game what it is at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without
The twins-
I saw the character still mining somewhere.
this game wasn't even really that well received
left going.
at first, but
Yeah, B unless you're a whale. I get that, James. I hear you. Wait, who put S++? Ruben, for which game?
Ruben.
Really?
I think he's talking
Well,
about
he
this.
said every game was going to be an S. So.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with A for this one, but if
It's
chat
still
wants
free.
S,
No,
I'm
it's
not gonna
still
deny
free, but this is we get some A. We get some A. Well, he said movie
Astro
what?
got an S.
Oh, put an S.
B unless you're a whale.
Movie, what does this mean? I
This
don't know what
this was the first
I
game
think he's
that
saying
I,
the
it's
cinematic
cinematic
part
scenes.
get A.
Oh,
I promised I would not let myself
Ruben's a
play
whale.
because I knew that I'd never do anything else for into forever and ever. Like I refused to even play this. One of my best friends was on this nonstop, 24/7. His life revolved around this game, and I
wow,
knew
we're
that I would
stuck.
be right there. And I was like, nope, I can never play this game.
All right, JJ, it's on you. We need one more. We're stuck.
I said
between-
A.
What'd you say?
I said A already.
All right. Okay. Well, if we get one more S, we'll put an S. But for right now, it's going into the A tier.
One thing I didn't like about this game too was it's way more fun with people you know playing
Yeah.
than just trying to random solo through it.
Yeah.
Or even like try to play without internet. It's really rough. So
All right, put it in the A, but it might get moved up to S. We'll see if one more
I
person
got it in
comes
the
in.
A for now, which is getting crowded. Which I think Rogue Squadron needs.
S.
No,
S.
absolutely no.
You don't understand. This
C.
game was
C.
this game was Rogue Squadron.
C.
Repeat what it was to me. Like I played.
C.
It was a multiplayer galactic Star Wars game. This is S. You can play multiplayer on this thing. It was awesome at the time.
C. C.
This one I bow out because I didn't play this one.
It was a B. It was
But I can't
good,
give you
and I
S,
enjoyed
because
it.
That's on my Rogue Squadron, so I'll throw that out there right now.
This is the mother of all Star Wars flight simulators.
PC was awesome. Awesome. Dusty. Awesome isn't a grade. You got to give it S through trash. B, A.
I see a B and I see an A.
You're going to have to do what not for PC games. That's funny. All right. Looks like we got BA. It looks like it's going to get an IFC. So, like, I'm way down there.
I have it right now. I know you got the picture up, but I got it in the B spot right now. Until
I think
move
B's
it.
where it's going to sit. I think B's
Look at
where
all
it's
these
gonna
A's and S's. Ah, come on now.
There's one A. Oh, S's. Okay, now
Oh,
we got some
Dusty.
S's. All right, we got to move it up from B to A. Yeah, Shannon, I know.
Another
he likes
A.
it.
So you're getting a lot of A's. JJ, if you
Yeah, a lot of
get another
A's.
S, then we can start talking. But
Yeah.
All
you
right.
got one supporter.
All right.
He is good. Yeah,
Mm.
see, so I think you get. There's as many B's as there is S's. So
I
it's
know.
gonna
That's
be A.
why we got.
I know, Shannon. Of course, Shannon likes flight simulators. Okay, next up is.
Don't you try playing around there, Jedi.
B. Here's your B game for me.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
good, but it was
Yeah.
not great. And
It's actually C, to be honest with you. It was good, but it just was. Yeah.
I'm fine
C.
with that.
I think
Where do we
C's
get
okay on that. Yeah, I mean they were all fun. I think we're good.
Yeah.
They're all-
to me, these were better than the. I'll wait, but yeah. improved in
this
this.
one's B. This one's B.
B, yeah, better than the first one.
Yeah, better than the first one. B,
No,
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, B, 100%. C, B, B, B.
I
B.
did make
The
good
middle's
things
filling
in this
out.
game.
It's not so A heavy right now.
Trash.
You
You couldn't even play it You had to play it multiplayer. It was awful. It's not a Battlefront game. Trash.
Yeah, but you got to
Okay.
be the problem with it. The problem why I'd save it from trash is because you got to be so many different characters. Like you could be Boba Fett.
Yeah,
You
they
could-
did let you be Vader. They let you, That was nice.
All right, if you trash this, then we got to have.
I don't want to trash it.
I trash it because most people
I
couldn't
still don't
play
have
it.
that high.
It's a solid B or C. I thought.
It's good now. Boba
Boba
Bump.
Bump.
C. I think C or D is okay for
That's
it.
kind of where I was at with it. Because
Yeah.
I still felt like even with the multiplayer, it was still a little
Well,
bit lacking.
Yeah.
Like, you get over the novelty of, hey, I get to be Boba Fett. Oh man, somebody else picked him, so I can't be him this round.
That does suck. But
You know,
the
then
same
it's
thing
like,
happened.
damn it.
The same thing happened in the next one because I know what the next one is. But you actually had more. There's a lot cooler options. So we can put in. What are we doing? D or C?
At least C.
I'm good with
Because
C.
I'd go B on
We got a
it,
B
but
minus.
B
I
or
see
D.
Astra's got a C.
I'm okay
I don't
with
know.
C.
Ruben's got A on this. We kind of sped through the first Battlefronts kind of quick, so I know the comments could be a little behind. So
Yeah. Battlefront 2 is definitely B. We can
yeah,
be
Shannon's
C.
got a C. I think I'm good with a C. On
Yeah, I
this.
think it'd be a C too.
Just because again, the novelty of they let you be like characters.
JJ's shaking his head like he's about had it.
You know what they let you be characters? Money. They want the money. That's what this game was. Microtransaction cash grab.
Oh yeah.
Battlefront 2. They started off it as a cash grab, and then they were
It got better.
and then everybody's like, screw you, and they stopped the cash grab.
Yeah,
That's
what
what I
was it
think.
called
I think
again?
he does have a point. Like, I think Battlefront could get moved down to D, the original, and this could be probably in the CB range.
You have to rate this one better than the other because they did improve it and it became better, even though they were greedy as hell in the beginning. But yeah,
they were real greedy.
Yeah, what was it called? I can't remember what was the term for like the
microtransactions.
microtransaction. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then, like, after the microtransaction broke, all of a sudden, all the legendary characters were like real dope. All of a sudden, then they started bringing in.
Well, you had to like play for like 80,000 hours in order to get like anybody interesting.
Yeah, but they only had like 4 or 5. It was like Darth Maul, Vader, Luke, Yoda. Was that it? Grievous? No, because then they brought in Grievous after that, and then the microtransaction broke. And then Rey. You could have been Rey. And then
That's saying A and B for this one.
They're saying A or B. All right, put it.
I'm on B. I'm on B all day for this one.
I think you got to rate it higher than the last one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
put it
Well,
in.
that's good. Then I don't need to bump the last one down.
Red Rick. We'll have them someplace. If it's not on this list, it'll be on next week's list.
Yeah,
But we did it as a collective, just so you know.
We'd be
Yeah,
here
we
till
gotta
be launch
1 a.m. if
after.
we did them all at
It's the
once.
same game.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, story kind
I'm
of.
more,
Yeah, the
I'm more
story.
scared
Actually,
to this argument.
you know what? I forgot about this. The story
It does have a
level
story and a campaign, yeah.
was
The other
it
one
was
didn't have a
really good.
campaign. That's one of the
I
reasons.
know. And that's why I'm not arguing bumping this one a little higher than the last one.
Yeah.
I think you bump the other one down.
B. Yeah, I think we need to. Yeah, I agree. Let's move this one up to B. Let's move the other one to D. Done.
JJ's salty. We didn't give him the S on the X-Wing TIE Fighter.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm still salty on Rogue
All right,
Squadron.
I wasn't gonna
Let's
put
help
this.
together.
I wasn't gonna put this game in here. No, hey, move Battlefront 1 out of C. Move that to B, and then put us. Keep that one in B. Yeah. Move Battlefront, the first Battlefront. No.
He's saying move the first one down to D is what
Yeah,
he's saying.
green.
Why
Yeah,
are we
go
moving
over.
it down? Why do we need to move it down? Because we moved the other one up.
I think
All right, fair.
We're
Leave it
moving
there.
them both down. You were saying do this?
Nope. You know what? No, they voted
It's
that.
that much better.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. Whatever.
All of a sudden,
I didn't like either
all
one.
of a
So.
sudden, you put them right next to
I did
each
like
other,
the second
you're
one better,
looking
though.
And you're going, hey, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the second one had the campaign was really good. The cutscenes are good. After they got rid of microtransactions, even like they started the Camino thing where you started doing the multiplayer really turned out to be a little bit more fun.
Again, I know what you're saying. And
They
I know
didn't
you're-
allow so
you're-
much camping.
You're proclaiming the bells and whistles that they get to add on sequels. All I'm trying to remind you of is when you had that first, the novelty
more
you
better.
first got with being able to play the main characters in a game like that. Don't let it downplay it because they made it better later.
Well, yeah, but they put in a whole bunch of more characters. Like there was a lot more characters, a whole bunch
I'm
of more.
not saying it doesn't make the other game better. I'm saying
It made it
don't
that
let
more better, dude. It made it
degrade
that
your
more
value
better.
of the original game.
It made it a whole bunch more characters. That more better. Come on.
I'd say C just because
And
of
again,
the
you're
looks
thinking
better.
of it the wrong way. I'm telling you, yes, you can make.
Okay,
the other
I
games
wasn't going to
better,
allow
but
this
that
in for this
shouldn't make
week. We
your
were going to do it
first
for next
experience
week.
worse.
I wasn't going to allow this game in here this week. Well, let the chat move that one up or down. I wasn't going to do this one.
You
This
guys are the one who moved it down.
Yeah.
Hey, I had it as trash to begin with.
Yeah, I'm good at C.
Oh,
There you
get
go.
out of
I'm
here.
good at C.
All right, last one for the day. We weren't going to put this one in here, but JJ cried because it's his favorite game. So, Jedi Fallen Order.
A.
We got one S tier out of this, huh?
I haven't played it yet, so I can't vote.
I put more than
I'm
one
right
in the
there
S
with you.
tier.
To be fair, I really haven't played a game like the last year.
There's
and a
that
half.
one part where you have to go sideways, and I hate that part of the game action where you got to do the sideways crawl, jump shit.
About where you the platforming where you escape.
Yeah, I hate that. So I'll keep it.
Hey,
A2.
chat's giving it solid S's here.
Let's Astro.
Oh, that's just
Astro.
Astro saying it 6 times.
If Jen was here,
The
she'd
Ruben's
give
in
it
there, too.
S.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, there's a lot of S's.
Now,
Jen would
this
vote
game,
S.
this game had a
yeah.
great.
I will include Jen's S,
B.
her de facto S on this one.
Yeah.
This game kind of like KOTOR, and I'd be almost fine with it in S because, like KOTOR, it had a great original story that you don't see. I mean,
Oh, too short. Okay, I feel that.
Yeah. but what game isn't really short nowadays?
Especially if you like it. All right, go ahead. Throw in the S. Sorry. Zaggy, we are sending it to S because the S's took
No.
it.
Now to bump that Rogue Squadron back up to S.
The story was good. What are you talking about? Do not put that bullshit in S. No, nobody, no. We won't do another tier list if that happens.
You scratch
Get
my
outta
back.
here.
I'll scratch yours.
Get
Pete.
out of here. No. That's a good list. That's a good list. Let's take a snapshot of it. It's great when the chat is booing us and cheering us at the same time. And that is tier list. We'll have another one next week. And if you ever miss out, always on Wednesday on Renovision, we do a tier list every single week. This week, What's the tier list this week, Pete?
I think we're going to do Midnight Suns.
We are doing Midnight Sun. Oh, we're doing Midnight Sun.
Also, I mean, because of the video game announcement, kind of.
Yeah, because of video game announcements, as a matter of fact. If you didn't know that there was Game Con was last week, right?
Yeah.
JJ?
Yeah.
Yes? I thought you had a big game day. Well, Game Con was last week, right?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Probably.
How do you say you're the video game guy? You didn't even know
Game
it was
Con? I don't even know what Game Con is.
That's where they give all the trailers and promos for all the games.
It's not quite E3 either.
Yeah.
So E3 and CES were the ones I always remember.
And they show you a couple gameplays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Everybody, all the big companies have their own now. Nintendo Directs and I forget what Sony
this is
called
like
theirs.
this is like the early I don't know what award ceremonies are, but this is the early one where you get to see a lot of stuff that they throw out. So
there was an announcement on the video game front. Somebody mentioned Lego games earlier. There was an announcement on that front. I know this week.
They did that. Now it's the whole Lego.
Finally, finally, they said it was coming forever, and they finally announced it.
The Skywalker. Now just call it Skywalker Saga.
I think
we
Saga,
are ranking Lego next week, but we're just doing the Star Wars Saga, which was the last one they put out, which is all of them combined. And by the way, love them. So you know that's S tier. So that's it. Just the tip. Okay, that is it. Our next section is very Jedi. What is there something you want to add to that? Are you still mad?
I thought you meant that's it. Is like that was the end of the show.
No, let's take a picture of that though, and let's put it up there to promo next week.
We can
have more people yelling at us. We chased away a couple people. I think we chased away. I think Obi left because of how bad we did on this report, and who else was it? There was somebody else that she was in here for a while. She gave up after tears, crying. I think her name was Nicole. Left because she wanted to S tier something that JJ wanted an S tier, and we said absolutely not. So there we go. All right, we lose fans by doing this, but we still do it either way. Excellent. Jedi, you are up next. I need to stop sharing, even though Pete already kicked me off the screen. Do you want to do Jedi's or you want me to do it, Pete?
No, you can do it because I don't have it.
What do you mean you don't have it?
I don't have it handy. It wasn't anywhere I could find it.
All right, making of Mando 2, where I guess if you watch this, the reason why we had no Kleenex or toilet paper was not because of a pandemic, but it was because apparently every dude that's above the age of 15 was fucking crying. So here we go.
There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of dudes were crying when CM Punk came back last week too. So
no. It's all a deep fake. All right, let's go, Jedi. Let's do it.
CM Punk.
So yeah, I just
you don't get to say anything after spending like half an hour talking about the young adult relationships in that last book. You don't have what to say and making fun of people crying over this.
Do I cry? I didn't cry during that either. Okay, go ahead, Jedi. Jedi's gonna text me after this, be like, "You guys ruined my segment, bro." I mean, like, come on, let's get into the segment. All right, let's go.
I just happened to stumble across this, but I'm sure other people knew it was out there. I just happened to stumble across it on Disney Plus when I was bored. So, yeah, so I guess they just dropped the making of the infamous, heart-wrenching tear-dropping season 2 finale of
It's all a deep fake.
Mandalorian. And so one of the things they talked about a lot in here, a lot of the stuff they talk about is the same old stuff they always talk about when they do making, wanting to be true to the legacy of Star Wars, the roots of Star Wars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Balance, but a couple of takeaways, obviously balancing what is the story of Mando, which is the story of Din and Grogu, and then they've done this before because they've had other iconic characters, Ahsoka, come in or whatever, but probably none, open to debate, as iconic as Luke. So go ahead and go to the next. So they wanted to balance that. So I think I won't go into how they aired that because they didn't really go into that either, but that was one of their objectives. So some of the interesting stuff was the cover up. So what they did is, first of all, they weren't allowed to really speak the name of Luke. Very few people even knew that Luke was going to be in the finale. Those that did were sworn to silence because, they didn't want people to know, right? They had to sit on this for a whole season and try and keep. They knew leaks were going to happen, so they tried to get ahead of it by creating their own leaks, their own fake stories. And leaking those. One of the main leaks, the main leak that was actually written into the story boards or storylines was that it wasn't going to be Luke that came back. It was going to be Plo Koon, right? So
Plo
Koon. Who, as those who follow Rebels and the story, he died during Order 66. I believe his own wingman shot him down. His own.
We don't know. We technically don't know. We didn't see a dead body.
We keep seeing it over and over again on
you
the
do
screen,
see the little the clip I added there that looks like.
Yeah, but we don't see him dead. We just see an explosion, man.
He just hits his head on the steering
and that was
wheel.
actually written into the. Actually, for those that watched the episode that know this, it was actually written into the little storyboard that Plo Koon.
Unpopular opinion time.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion time. Plo Koon would have been better.
Okay. All right, we're going to get to those that we all think might have been better.
Well, no, this is an old thing with Star Wars too, because remember after this scene too, and people had asked, Dave had Plo Koon outside of his office, and he had hinted that he's not dead. This is years ago, like years ago.
Plo Koon is Dave's favorite Jedi, which I think is well known by people that know Dave, follow Dave Filoni. So that was part of the reasoning why that was the character picked to leak, because people would say, "Oh, I bet it is Plo Koon," because
he had a life-size one outside his office.
He also survived outside in space. Remember,
he did. Pete brought up what I was going to bring up earlier. He's done spacewalks before in Clone Wars.
Hey, if Leia could survive out in space, Plo Koon can survive out in space.
Agreed.
Because as you can tell, Plo Koon, I don't believe he breathes oxygen. He has a breather. I'm not exactly sure what gas he breathes, but anyway, so all of this was leaked. In addition to the leaks, they had, whenever they would bring Luke on to film and to do his part in the fake out, the majority of the crew was out in where'd they say Simi Valley or someplace doing the Boba Fett. The Boba Fett appearance.
They had it during the Rodriguez. They had him on the Rodriguez episode.
Right. Yep. So, and those that were, they probably had to sign, NDAs or whatever.
It was very small.
Yeah, very small. So, so how did they do Luke, which is so Filoni kind of discussed that, he kind of went briefly through, there's 3 ways to do this. There's obviously the more antiquated, have makeup artists go through and try to de-age somebody with makeup. Luke was on board with it. Mark Hamill was on board.
Should have got Sebastian Stan and done with
that would have
it.
looked terrible.
What would have looked awful. They could have done what I think they did with what they did with Tarkin. I think in Rogue One was there's something else where they just had an actor and he had to wear some sort of helmet
which is what they did.
That's what they did, more or less.
It's not fully.
Not exactly what they did with Luke, the way I understood it. So the way they did it with Luke was what they called,
and that's why they didn't do a great job, and they hired a guy who did a better job at home.
Okay.
He's gonna rubber band.
I mean, I don't know. So they kind of explained. I don't have a dog in this fight, but
let the man talk.
it didn't look like Luke exactly. But so basically, they went out and they took millions, thousands, millions, whatever, images and videos of
cool.
Luke. And they basically fed it into this supercomputer program that's called, I think it's known as deep fake, or this process is known as deep fake. The computer would, and then they would film. They actually filmed Mark Hamill, and they filmed this other actor, Max Lloyd Jones, who kind of had the physical features of a young Mark Hamill. And then as they would film that, and then they would, I don't know, man, I'm not a freaking scientist, computer science, but they fed it into the program, and the computer would learn based on all these previous inputs it had from images of Luke, and it would say, okay, this is, start building, if you will, a Luke model. So that's, the one.
Can anybody explain to me, and I'm not trying to knock it, but what did as this story was going on, at first I was like, that's cool. Oh, cool. They actually did use Mark. And then when they explained the process, I was like, why the fuck do you have Mark there?
Exactly.
You literally didn't use it for anything. He didn't do anything. He would go up there and do something, and then the young kid would come up there and go like, okay, here's what you do. And they did the deep fake face on the young guy. They didn't use fucking Mark Hamill for shit.
I think they did it kind of as I think it was more honors than anything. Just because it's his character. Luke would coach, I think, from what I took away. Luke would kind of coach this Max Lloyd Jones into his
and how to act like him.
This is how I would walk.
Yeah,
this is how I would swing my lightsaber.
Yeah,
yep.
Which is cool.
I
actually thought,
which is not the way he swung the lightsaber in the other movies. But.
No, but Dave explained that too. Like, I actually thought I was really after it. I was kind of happy. The only thing I wasn't happy about was like at the end, because you could see like they start saying like, I cried during this part. I cried during this part. I was like, they all went on social media, saw the one dude who did it for real, saw it was popular, and then just like every YouTube dude said they cried and everything. And then they say towards the end, we went on YouTube, we went on the social media, we saw everybody was crying. I'm like, come on, guys, nobody cried over this shit. So, anyways,
I don't know. There was like an uncanny canyon. I know they like the term uncanny valley, like when you have the dead eyes on the CGI, but it just did not play for me.
I thought my only thing with Luke was I thought he was very stoic. In the recreation was very stoic. He didn't really have a lot of emotion. I remember Luke having more emotion than what that creation showed.
I thought it was pretty. I thought the creation thing was pretty good. What I liked best though is that something that they mentioned that I liked how much thought process they put behind it. They also said like you didn't hear the original music. Is that part of your slides? I'm sorry if it is. I don't want to be.
That's on the next slide.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll go next slide.
But one thing I will say, they had the young lady on there with the long blonde hair who brought up something I thought was interesting. Not that I know anything about any of it, but she basically said that, and I'm kind of ad-lib or paraphrasing, that if each one of us closes our eyes and thinks of Luke, we probably see him differently than what the person sitting next to us sees Luke. So when someone sees this, that's why you have so many different opinions about this recreation of Luke. Some people thought it was amazing. Some people thought it was trash. And it probably just goes back to what Luke you see when you close your eyes, maybe. So again, I thought my only real complaint was I just thought he lacked a lot of facial expressions.
Yeah, you can't recreate that. They still can't recreate a human for actual emotion being.
So I thought
in the eyes, they don't have it yet.
I thought it was kind of cool. Like they even thought like they didn't use the original like brown cloak, which I thought was kind of cool. Why they explained it, and then like how they explained and like they said like I didn't cry, but I got a little like I get it because they played the music in the background too to give you the nostalgic. Because how she was explaining how you see and how you hear. Let's go to the next slide.
Go to the next slide. So that's a good point.
They
so
also explained how
he
changed. His face changed over such a long period of time. His face really does change a lot. So in that explanation of everybody sees Luke different.
Yeah, well, he did have that car accident too.
So they did introduce for the first time in any of the Mandalorian seasons or episodes, they introduced John Williams' original score during the Luke scene, which obviously music is one of the biggest triggers for emotions, I think.
Absolutely.
By the way, it was put on in after production, so there's no way on the set he heard it and started fucking crying. That's bullshit. Just want to say that.
Well, Favreau, and it gets we've already talked about fan
bullshit.
reactions, so
That's
we won't go over that again. But we have crew reactions, all different kind of reactions. Mark Hamill, I put that in there because he couldn't believe a lot of the reactions. Blah blah blah. He was flattered, he was humbled, etc. etc. Favreau cries, and you'll see I put R2. Favreau cried because of R2D2, which I didn't know until I watched this. R2D2 was Favreau's favorite character growing up. So Favreau said that he said he was fine with everything until R2D2 rolled out, and then he kind of lost it.
I call BS on it. I call BS on all.
Not as
of
though
it.
R2D2 was in the sequel movies or anything.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody.
He's come back since then. Like we knew he was around. Like,
There's two people
Luke.
people you learned very interesting facts about. John knows very little about Star Wars, but you know who knows less about Star Wars? Mark. Mark knows less about Star Wars than John, which is
I'll let you bring that up. I thought of that too.
That's the first time that he got to work with R2, and I think that's definitely kind of an emotional. You, as a kid, you grow up watching this, and
it's cool
your whole life, and then all of a sudden, you get to work with something that you idolize.
I
it's your
get all
favorite
that.
character.
But
I can see him becoming kind of emotional. Like, hey, this is my pinnacle moment. I fucking made it. I finally made it.
I know. So I get that. I understand. I would feel the same way if I got to work on something for Star Wars. I would feel the same way. I'd probably be bawling my eyes out. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that's a personal experience for me. So why should I care about his reaction to it?
Yeah.
Because
no, they were all
journey.
They literally lined it up if you watch how this played out, each one lined it up about what they cried at, and they said, we went on social media and everyone's cried. And Mark goes, it was amazing to see the reactions because everybody's crying. It's like,
yeah. Do you know what my social media response would have been as watching this? If you ask my wife, as we're watching this episode, it's don't be Luke. Don't be Luke.
Yeah.
Don't be Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
that was my response to it.
And actually, I think it was a lot of people's response because originally I remember, this is why I think I get a bad rap for this. I remember being behind the scenes. And talking about this and saying like, oh, I thought they did a great job with bringing him back. I was just disappointed, saying the same experience that I had with Pete and hearing people literally say the exact same thing. And then when the camera started rolling, oh, they saw the chat and every motherfucker was crying. I'm like, you weren't crying, dude. Like you just said that you didn't even cry. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
the Hulk looks a little bit like Favreau.
Everybody else is doing it.
But it's even like the main YouTube guy that brought up the crying thing. He wasn't even the first guy who did this, and it got hot and over 1 million views on TikTok. Was somebody was making fun of a Star Wars guy who was still crying after he saw this, and they put it up, and then 2 days later, it had 1 million views on it. And all of a sudden, every content creator got out there and was like, oh, yeah, putting the onions in their eyes so they could cry as a reaction video. And I just thought it was lame.
The conspiracy
I want to revisit what Marco... Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the conspiracy theorist in me wonders if Favreau didn't engineer Lucas coming back solely because he could work with R2-D2.
Yeah. I thought it was cool, though. I thought a lot of this... Besides that portion of it, what Jedi was talking about earlier, about how the blonde lady was saying, like, your mind is very good at perceiving faces and how it changed. And something that John said, too. He said, it is kind of scary, though, because the technology is out there to do this.
Yeah.
And it's only getting better.
Yet, but it's going to be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting better. It's just still not there in the eyes. Like
Jedi, what'd you want to say?
Well, I was going to bring up what you started to bring up earlier about Luke's knowledge of Star Wars. He was saying there's a part in the show where he's like, well, it only makes sense that it's me because I'm the only one that's ever had any interaction with that species. And I'm like,
with Yoda species.
Well, there's Ahsoka out there.
Yeah.
That's one. There's maybe others, but
and all those Jedi council meetings.
All those Jedi council meetings, and anybody who had anything to do with Yaddle. Yeah. And like, by the way, Yaddle showed up in live action. So even if you're speaking live action, it's not.
Nobody else worked with Frank Oz with his hand up a puppet going.
or Yoda never showed up in the prequels. I mean, but he also said something else. He said there's never been a story to tell what happened between the original 3 and the crap that Abrams did. Like, what are you talking about, dude? There's like 60 novels and like 300 comic books and fan video. There's all types of stuff.
I think he was talking video.
He was talking. He didn't get a job to do any of that shit. That's what he was saying. He didn't get a paycheck, so it doesn't count.
So much voice work I knew he's a very accomplished voice actor, but I didn't know a lot of the voice acting in even the sequels.
I'm a deep fake on MCM. By the way, I am a deep fake on MCM. It was really good though. Like there's actually, what does John call Kathleen? He calls her Kathy, Cat, something like that. They must have a really good relationship.
I can't hear anything when they mention her because my eyes are rolling too much in my head.
That's the problem. I think if you listen to what he said, he explains what her job is, and everybody that shits on her is like, wait, that's what the hell she does? She just like is the producer, like she oversees production and gets you the people you want.
She shockingly does what a producer does.
Yeah,
that's what a producer does.
No, but when the producer asks for something, she's the one that's like, yeah, this you can do this or can't. Like that's it. That's all she does. She's not like creating the fucking movie.
Yeah. So the term executive producer, if anybody doesn't know, is generally the cash person.
Yeah.
You get your name stamped on as executive producer by being the guy that writes a lot of checks.
Or if you could just be that one person who gets them that one hire, like that one actor. Everybody wants this one actor. Well, I brought them to you, so give me an executive producer credit because I brought in.
And that's what she did too. That's it. That's all she does.
Somebody can get an executive.
She doesn't write the script.
Next slide.
Very
all right, next slide. Because we got Hulk crying. Everybody cried. Okay. We all cried. So,
hey, what if? All right. So who else could work? Let's get into this. Let's have a little fun. So yeah, obviously I think Leia could have worked, right? If they
So that's the scary part about what we brought up earlier when he was saying it. John was saying that like we're so close to being able to fake this where we don't even have to ask for the permission and it could not be the real person anymore. That's kind of what he's hitting at, which I've been a big opponent for bringing Leia back because I think it would have saved that last movie.
Yes and no. I think to a degree that legally speaking would be a little bit off in that, you have like unions and stuff when it comes to Hollywood that are going to push back. Now, if the person's dead, that's a little bit different maybe. I don't know, but...
You didn't like Jurassic Park or...
Well, and that girl from Stranger Things, have you seen her side by side when she dresses up like Leia? She is a spitting image, man. She could play young Leia all day long. All day long. It's amazing how uncanny she looks like Leia.
No, I think the chat wants Mace back, Jedi.
Well, he went out a bit like a punk.
I'm looking at your what ifs.
Could work. I just think the only thing I'm a big Mace Windu fan, but I think if it turns out that Mace survived, then you kind of have to start asking the question. Well, where was he?
That's some awesome backstories.
Yeah, we need all the backstories.
Well, I mean,
how
like,
could he not
only
survive?
Where was Luke?
Out of a window.
Why was he not
jumped out of a car and he survived? Like a flying car, he jumps out and survives, but Mace falls out of a window.
I like the last one timelines.
Why? I guess my main question for that, and maybe there's a simple answer, is when Luke needs training, and we have Ben Kenobi or Obi-Wan's ghost out there saying, go talk to Yoda, this aging Yoda who's days away from turning into dust or whatever. Why wouldn't he say, go find Mace Windu? Is he too?
Because he's gonna walk the earth like Kane in Kung Fu.
Yeah. Maybe he went solo for a little bit, or maybe he was guarding somebody else. You don't know.
Or he's like, hey, your dad chopped off my hand and I got thrown out a window for it.
Yeah, maybe he turned away from the Force for a little bit to just be a monk in the mountains to rededicate himself to feel the Force because he's kind of getting to the dark side, and then he came back.
And now when there's a big moment in Mandalorian season 2 finale, he's like, yeah, I'll come out of hiding.
Or maybe he was training. Hey, we always want to know how Luke learned how to all of a sudden wield a lightsaber and become a Jedi Knight. It wasn't because of Yoda, so maybe it was Mace. Mace was training off camera. Mace Windu was training him the whole time. You don't know.
They talked about that in the documentary, that how they had to make Luke's fighting skills
not as good, but a little bit better,
more elementary than say Ahsoka's. And
I thought that was really cool.
Senior, yeah,
I thought that was really cool. I was really excited.
So yeah, I mean, if they could do a good backstory and fill in the holes, sure, Mace. I am more interested in the next one, which
could you imagine if Ventress showed up?
If Marco would ever let us do the review of Dark Disciples, maybe one of these slow days.
We could do it.
Star Wars weeks.
We could do it. It's my favorite novel.
I don't want to get into. Do you think that she could still be alive? I mean, You haven't read the
No,
book,
she's
no,
dead
no,
as shit.
sorry.
But
Is that Ventress?
Okay, what
Yeah,
about
Ventress.
that?
Maybe you don't
the
need to do a
water.
review. Maybe you just do a recap. Like maybe you recap some of the novels because there's a lot of people.
yeah, we
who
should
just
recap
haven't
that
read
novel. I
both
love it. I
novels.
mean, that's
Let
one of
me
my
just throw
favorites.
this real quick though to
Me.
Marco.
Yeah.
When God, what's his name?
Voss.
Voss buries her, or actually lowers her into that
Goodness.
water back on her planet. That water has magical powers.
Oh,
Not a
dude, so
Lazarus
she could
pit.
come back. She could come back as a ghost. She could be, well, yeah, because she could be
come
one of the
back-
Night Sister
I
ghosts.
don't want her to come back as a Pet Cemetery type thing.
No. When you do that, like you can put her into that water. So there's these Night Sister ghosts. There's these ghosts of the Night Sisters. Okay, that would come out, and they're the spirits of the Night Sisters that never leave, and they actually would guard those pools and stuff like that. She could go down and come back as the spirit of a Night Sister, which would mean like she could be like this ghost type figure and come back. Yeah, sure.
Ghost
Well,
guard
she
the
could
pool.
come out
Yeah.
and be in one of the cocoons because at one point they're in the cocoons on the old sisters that cocoon up and then come back.
And then
In
like
that
batteries
novel,
were not
they just-
included.
They described how they had to lay the ones that were in the cocoons that were regenerating. From
But you
their
needed
death.
no, time out. You needed the Night Sisters to do the spell to have that happen. So that couldn't
See,
happen.
this
because of
is
that.
why it's not a review.
Nope.
Just do a summary recap.
Yeah,
of
the
these
Lazarus
novels. For
pit.
people
Get
who
outta
haven't
here.
read the books yet, like myself, in a lot of cases, will know what the hell you guys are talking about. You're talking about Cocoon. I'm seeing Wilfred Brimley and Don Amici, and I'm just wondering how that ties in to Ventress.
Mini Roach, yeah.
Whatever
Barry's
you
not
do.
included. Like I said, Barry's not included. That's what we got.
Whatever you do, don't put her in that Indian burial ground.
They could have given us
Yeah.
Voss, though. I mean, they could have given us. Maybe that's part of it. I wanted Voss to show up.
Yeah,
That was
Voss
who I
would've been
wanted.
Quinlan would have been great.
I would have loved it if Voss would have shown up. Anyways, go ahead. Okay, timelines, whatever. No, Ray couldn't have showed up.
Yeah, obviously. I threw that one in there as a gag. Obviously, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, because she's not going to leave Jakku.
The chicken guy's still around, isn't he? The chicken snake dude, the master Jedi. Oh, what was
Upoi.
because he
And-
yeah. He doesn't die during
Opus
66.
Mantis.
He takes off.
What's his name? Open
All right,
what?
so let's really
Rancis.
take it off the rails now and go to
Yeah.
the next slide. Let's
All
just
right, good job.
go nuts.
Oh, Darth Jar Jar. Yes,
Jar Jar.
Darth Jar
So we
Jar.
got Jar Jar, and then let's really go nuts and have Darth Jar Jar, which I can't believe I actually found that picture.
Yes.
Great
Darth Jar
picture of the Darth Jar Jar. I don't know who
Jar
made
Jar.
it, but it's awesome.
He should have been a Sith Lord. That would have made a
Yeah.
lot more sense.
Then we get-
And then I asked the
Of course.
guys from the show to give me some suggestions, and of course, Mephisto was thrown out.
Mephisto, man.
still is.
Mephisto's coming. Should have been Mephisto.
Who's the guy in the bottom
And then,
right?
Actually, Marco recommended Spock. He thought that would be a great crossover.
Uh-huh.
Who's that now?
That would be good.
He was the bad guy on Heroes.
Oh, yeah,
Zachary
yeah.
Quinto.
That's where you look familiar
Zachary
from.
Quinton. Yeah.
There we go. That's how it should have gone right there.
Jedi with Thanos.
We don't serve your kind here.
Hey, you notice C-3PO's wearing a medal.
I
We
see
don't
what
need-
he's
Yeah,
wearing.
We don't need no
I
belt.
see,
We have
yeah.
we have a medal for saving the galaxy.
You better stop
we'll
because
just-
the bell picture's still in there.
Might as well take away Chewie's medal and
Yeah,
give
give
it
it
to
to 3PO.
everybody but Chewie.
All
Yeah, no,
right,
the 3PO,
all right.
Actually-
give it to him.
One of my favorites would have been Plo Koon. I wish they kind of stuck with that.
Ezra would have been cool too. Ezra would have been cool.
Yeah.
It would have been weird, but would have been cool.
Yep.
His Plo Koon would have been cool too. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
like,
he finds
Plo
Jedi.
so when
That's
you guys were
Ezra's job
thinking,
at one point.
yeah,
Yeah,
but when
Plo Koon
you,
would've
yes,
been cool.
it was
Voss, I
because he
think,
found
would've been
Ahsoka.
like-
Like, how cool would that have been? He found Ahsoka. He finds Grogu. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Plus, you got kind of retcon some stuff with Luke because he's not
Yeah,
technically supposed to be
absolutely.
training anybody.
Well, and so what? There's a whole gap now of what happens with Grogu and Luke. Like, okay, where's that story?
We ain't getting that.
Just
I hope we don't.
Like, just all of a sudden, Luke has Grogu, but
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
then-
Honestly,
then
this is
Ben
what I'll give
Kenobi,
him
then-
after. Right. And I get all that, but honestly, I thought they kind of just did it as fan service. But when Dave explains it, not so much John, but when Dave explains, he's like, I could have said no to Luke. He's like, I really could have. And he said, if they tried to do any of this, and then Dave kind of goes through it, and then you hear the blonde lady that he was talking about on what they were doing with the deep fake and how that was
Blonde
working.
lady.
And then how they explained, like, we held out, even John Wayne's explaining, we held out the music to the end because we were trying to make it that emotional coming back through. I thought it really added something to it. I really do. I mean, I'm still not gonna cry over it, but I don't care that.
Yeah.
I mean, Luke showing up was okay. He just wasn't my first choice. I mean, Voss was my first
and
choice.
That's my point too. I didn't want it to be him, but I'm not gonna be mad that it was him.
Yeah.
When
Like now,
season
I
3
guess
comes
I thought
out,
it was Voss or something, but
I'm gonna mail a crate of onions to Marco's house. I'm just
Every show you're gonna see this. Man, it's the best ever. Oh, dude, the best was when John goes. Somebody brings something up about him and about him being a Jedi Knight. John's like, "Yeah, man, I was an usher when Return came out. Saw it a bazillion times." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's when they were talking about the color of his robe. And
I was like, I guess John doesn't like Return of the Jedi there, huh? Okay. Nah, it's fine.
who made him a knight? I'm gonna promote myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mace Windu off screen. Jedi solved it, bro. Good job. All right, that probably will be it. Jedi, that was a great segment. I think it was a great way to end it.
Yeah, I definitely think that was a good way to end.
That was definitely a great way to end it. Don't forget, like, subscribe over here on Tales, over there on Renovision, wherever you're at. Do that. Make sure you're checking out some of the great content. Do it on both. Note for Tales, they moved the show. Thursday nights now is live. What is it? It's
well, yeah. Thursday nights is no longer their old school comics. They moved the modern playbook. The prospect list is now live on Thursdays.
Yeah,
they're gonna.
But they will have
cool stuff another
They'll
time.
still have it. They'll tape it and it'll come out sporadically. So we'll still have that back. So don't worry about that. Make sure you're checking out all the fine shows here. Make sure you're checking out me and Pete and our tier list on Wednesday nights on Renovision. Hey, thanks everybody. Once again, check out MCM if you didn't watch it last night. You'll start getting the scuffing jokes. I mean, seriously, it was in a bag. How did it get spine stress on it? I don't understand. All right. See you.